Yeah, don't forget. Hello.
What's up, everybody?
We have a different setup today because we have our first in-house guest.
In-house. In person. Ron, you're our first guest that's ever been here with us.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Weird.
Yeah.
Huh. I should have taken a bath.
It smells a little weird.
Yeah.
I have to say.
Yeah. The ghost of Daniel Johnston's still here. Hey, did you ever figure out like who that character is on Yip Jump Music? The little that everybody thinks is Casper the Ghost?
Wasn't it?
It's him, right?
Wasn't it Don's son? Or something?
No, it was way before Don was even born.
Who was it?
I don't know. I didn't stay tuned to see who that was.
Yeah, I think he said it wasn't his son.
And it wasn't Casper the Ghost.
It was?
Well, obviously it wasn't his son. His son is way later.
So today's going to be a little more freeform and wild, and that's cool. I was actually on the phone with someone earlier who's a big collector. Shout out, you know who you are. I'm not going to say who I was on the phone with, but he said he's actually been watching our show and enjoying it.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good news.
He actually likes what we do. That's great.
Yeah, I was like, wow, you are? He's like, yeah, I listen to it. It's really fun.
Yeah,
and then
I didn't poke my eyeballs out.
Yeah, and I was on the phone with somebody else this week told me that it's really nice to see us all hang out and chatting. It's very entertaining. So thank you, everybody, for joining us and being part of the Clutter family.
I'm trying to remember how to use Instagram. For some reason, I've forgotten.
We're definitely going to talk about because Ron's here, the monitors are so far away, I can't read.
I'll read them.
I can't read. Wow.
Why won't it let me go live? What's going on?
Let's take a quick break.
Just talk amongst yourselves for a moment.
This is great TV, man.
Thanks. I'm talk amongst yourselves. Don't worry about what I'm doing.
So we've got some cool stuff.
So we got to collaborate on the Cambot, right?
That's right. Yeah. So hello, CZ. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good. How's everything in
Awesome.
the old country? It's all, you're like, don't talk about it. It's great.
It's great. Yeah.
It's awesome. It's always great, right?
Yeah.
This is almost so. This time on Instagram, people could almost experience the show.
Yeah, almost. There
Almost.
you
go. Hey, everybody! If you're joining us on
it.
Instagram, come on YouTube. Don't hang out on Instagram.
No.
Come to youtube.com/Clutter Magazine. That's where it's really going down. So, in updates for the Clutter fam, the yellow Grin bots are out. They're dope.
Nice.
We're gonna give one away tonight. We're gonna do some Ron English trivia.
Oh, do I get a free one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
we can also give away some cards. We got some cool cards.
oh yeah, we got Area 51 cards.
Area
54.
54.
Sorry.
That's our.
What's the difference between Area
that's our
51 and
secret.
Area 54?
Well, it was Area 51 and Studio 54. And then we threw this party. We wanted to build an alien club, around the idea that when aliens visit Earth, they're actually going to, the desert to have these great parties. And the only people that have ever come to Earth are the only other aliens that have come to Earth. They're just out looking for parties. They're rich kids out cruising the universe looking for parties.
I'm not going to let you do this to us tonight.
What?
Talk about aliens?
Talk about aliens.
Okay.
Also, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
We'll come back to that.
we'll come back. Also on the table, the metallic Grin. We haven't dropped it yet, but get ready. It's out there. You've played with one of these.
You have to be ready for it to
Yeah, you have to get ready.
Okay. Oh.
And the pink glow light called crypto bulbs are starting to ship as we speak. So get ready. If you bought one, they're on their way. We're very happy about that. And
What else?
all the Daniel Johnstons are gone.
They're
All the
shipped.
Jeremiahs are shipped.
They are.
They're all gone?
They're all
You
shipped.
saved me one?
We saved you one. We saved Ron one. That's okay.
Dude,
I thought I'd hook you up with Don.
they went fast. People love this figure.
Seriously,
We're
you remember
really
when I
happy.
hooked you up? He said, I'm going to hook you up with one. Don't worry about it.
We have
I
one.
got one for you.
Okay.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Sure.
So
So how are you, Alex? What's been going on with you this week?
Yeah, I'm great. I got another fucking cortisone shot in my other knee now, so I'm fucking walking on two legs again.
That's what
Feeling
getting old
pretty-
does to you.
Feeling pretty good. I went to the doctor. He fucking told me he's writing a fantasy novel, and then he told me all the details of the fantasy novel. And then we have a fucking full waiting room just full of people, and he sat with me for 30 minutes and told me about his entire book, detail for detail. It was pretty amazing. To the point where I was like, dude, I gotta go. What's up?
Was it a good story?
Dude, I don't know. Because he was like, yo, your hat looks like George R.R. Martin. And I'm like, oh, no, fucking here we go, bro. And
You do look like George R.R. Martin now that you
yeah, I'm
say
like
that.
a young George R.R. Martin. It's just I never finish my shit. I'm the ultimate procrastinator. It's fucking pretty awesome.
Yes.
You know.
And you're
cool.
decrepit.
I am decrepit. Yo, my knees don't
You're
fucking
decrepit.
work. Kids don't get older.
It's messed up. It's messed
True.
up.
Totally.
And
How
how
you
about
guys
you,
doing?
Steve?
I'm good, man. Just been sculpting away, doing a little render at the moment of this little Canbot kid, so that's fun.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah, that's exciting. I've got my stuff shipped for the Glow show on Saturday, so that's cool.
Yeah, it arrived.
Yeah.
It's ready. FedEx delivered on time. We're waiting for a pickup, so that might happen in the middle of this show. We'll see.
That'd be fucked up.
It would,
That would
but
suck.
What's behind you?
Susie lives in an arcade bar.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. This is my loft arcade with my arcade games. I'm just hanging out up here, you know,
You should try to do them.
away from the kids and stuff, you know.
Yeah. Well, thank you for those people watching and joining us. In case you don't know, we are Clutter Magazine. We started as a magazine almost 20 years ago, which reminded me I was going to grab the issues with Ronan, and I forgot.
Do you still make a magazine?
We haven't in a few years
This is
now.
the magazine.
That's what I figured.
This is the
This is it. We do it live.
magazine reborn into a live show.
Rebirthed
Yeah.
as part of the entertainment wave of all culture, right? No one reads anymore. We just watch
No.
videos.
That's true.
Ron agreed with me.
But if you do want to read, you can pick up the back issues on clutter.co. So,
Cool.
right. All right, awesome. We have this weekend opening 2 amazing shows. We have the Glow Show, which is our annual, though we skipped last year. It's our 4th annual Glow in the Dark show where the gallery is all blacklit. And we also have a Dekebi solo show. So that's going to be fun. So come join us here 6 p.m. on Saturday. And we have a new beer sponsor, right?
We do. Industrial
That's good.
Arts, local to Beacon. Very, very excited. Come to the gallery, grab a wrench. You know you love it. You know you want one.
Oh yeah, no, I have a beer commercial that I just aired on YouTube. We just dropped it just before I came over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to show that a little later in the show.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thanks for making a weird beer commercial.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm hoping I can hook up with these guys and actually make it for real.
Yeah, that would be good.
It's called
You should.
Beaver Piss.
No, it's called Squirrel Squirt.
Squirrel Squirt.
Close.
Close, as they say in the business. Close. The other production news that we wanted to talk about today was we're dropping the monochrome lady lips. If you haven't grabbed one,
Oh, here they are.
they're dope. Check it out. It's
I can
beautiful.
use let me use my close cam. This is my toy cam to show you. Ooh.
It's kind of like when you go to like a nonprofit and you have to go through all like the business stuff. And then once we get through that, we can open it up to the interview.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
get
I
into it.
know.
You know how this works, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I just,
There we go.
All right.
I'm
You
not very
feel a
good.
little pensive.
Yeah.
You've been here for a while.
I'm not a
now.
very good cooperator, right?
I know.
I wish I had a
I'm
little
trying to
Dawn in me. Maybe
I'm
I
trying to
could give you
keep-
some coffee. Yeah.
You know, I'm here to keep you in check and guide you through this process.
And
Yeah,
if
I don't want to follow Don. He's great.
he was
He's got
great.
energy.
Last week
If you
was
watch
awesome.
it on Instagram, come to YouTube.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah, Don's the expert in Daniel Johnston.
He is.
He is.
I mean,
If you have a question, drop it in the chat and we will ask it at some point, by the way.
awesome.
Okay.
So
We're already getting questions here.
Yeah. Please talk about Daniel. How many rabbit songs did he help you with? I want to learn all I can about Daniel. You introduced Daniel and Don. That's what we learned last week.
Yeah.
So
can you
tell us a little
that
bit about
story?
that. Yeah.
So we can start there.
Oh, I could tell the pre-story and then I could tell the story. So,
Perfect.
so we're done looking at all these cool toys and
No.
like the Daniel toy.
No, we
For
can look
now,
at
we
them
can
all
keep
night.
coming back to them. But
Oh no, I knew Daniel in college, and I think he dated my sister for a while, and she was trying to learn how to be a painter, and I had a painting studio, so she started coming to paint with me, and she goes, God, painting is boring. And I'm like, yeah, you just sit here and, I mean, what the fuck? She goes, well, what if we had people come read poetry and play rock and roll music for us and
At
stuff?
your studio?
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't think people want to do that. Yeah, let's just go play for Ron and Susan, you know.
Yeah.
But she was a super cute girl, and she very charismatic, and people did come read poetry to us while we painted. And one of our regulars was this kid Daniel Johnston, who's
So he wasn't in school.
No, he was there trying to make it big in the music industry.
Right.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. So originally, my sister did not want me to meet him because she thought he's
So
a
wait,
Was
gentle.
this in
Susan-
in Texas? Just to put
This is in Austin, Texas.
In Austin,
And so
okay.
Susan, who we've met,
Yeah, my sister. Yeah,
dated Daniel Johnston.
yeah. And
Okay.
she didn't want me to meet Daniel Johnston because
I don't think
She
I've ever
thought
connected all these.
he's a
dots.
sensitive artist, and you're just this fucking wild person, and you'll have him up in fucking billboards. You know, he's too sensitive to doing that. You're crazy. You'll kill him.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, I'm not gonna. I want to meet him, but I ain't gonna make him get on a billboard. Matter of fact, I did do a billboard of him. Yeah. So,
Okay.
and I took it and I put it up in New York. So yeah.
What year was
But,
that?
but I mean, I understood he was like, you know, sensitive or whatever the fuck he was. But anyway, me and him actually finally did meet by accident. We were walking down with a group of people down Guadalupe, and he was, you know, handing out his tapes, you know, saying, you know, I'm the songwriter of the year. So he handed me a tape, and then, you know, we became really good friends.
That's how you met.
That's how we met. And then, like when the 90s rolled around, I started getting back into making music again. So we did an album called Propaganda, and it was a whole bunch of, well, this is kind of weird. It was Saddam Hussein had 110 songs about him, and he was the living person that had the most songs recorded about him. And I thought, well, that's kind of sucky. And wouldn't it be more interesting if like some half homeless fucking East Village artist had like more songs than the Dictator? And so I started asking all these different bands. And so of course I wanted to ask Daniel. So we flew down there, and well, first we didn't know where he was. He'd been gone for 5 years.
So you moved to.
No, he had disappeared from the
you moved
face
to
of the earth. He released a album with Atlantic, and I think it overwhelmed him. And then he went kind of nuts, and he was gone, and he had a manager that wouldn't say where he was.
Right.
He wouldn't tell anybody where he was. And actually, my sister finally figured out that he was in Waller, Texas, and she drove there, and she said she just sat there and cried and looked at him for 2 hours and then left.
Oh.
Because he was really fucked up, and he had been laying in bed for 5 years.
What year
Oh
is
my
this?
God.
Fuck, I don't know. Early 90s.
Early 90s.
Okay.
Early 90s, yeah. So anyway, I flew. I was in New York at the time, so I flew down and got my brother-in-law Brandon, and me and him drove like 5 hours down to Waller to meet Daniel, and we brought a dad tape, and we were gonna try to see if we could get a song out of him for the record. And yeah, so you know, first we took him out to eat, and then his parents says, make sure he doesn't have any marijuana or beer. You know, we're like, oh yeah, we never. And my brother-in-law said, we're not the butthole surfers, lady. You know, but we go down, we go have some beers, and or we go have dinner. And then I go to the bathroom. When I come back, there's like 3 empty beers in front of him. So he chugged 3 beers while I was in the bathroom. And Brandon just go, fuck, I don't know. I couldn't stop him. But anyway, we got him back to his place, and we said, well, here's kind of what we want from you. And so he suddenly just started doing the song. And we have to set up the recorder, and so we're frantically trying to set up. So we only have like half a song. And we said, could you please do it again? He goes, no.
No.
That's because
That's one
he
time.
did everything one time. And then so anyway, we're finally leaving. We got like a 5-hour drive back to Dallas, and I had brought him a couple of my prints of McDonald's, like where you know, whatever, because I knew he liked McDonald's and worked at McDonald's. And I don't think he understood they were prints, maybe, because when we were out in his dark driveway, he comes running out with something, like a stack of something, and he hands it through the passenger side window to Brandon, my brother-in-law. And we're driving back and talking about this and that, and I said, what did he hand? And he goes, fuck, he just gave you like 200 drawings. Like, really? This is before his autograph drawings, what I call them the really quick ones.
Yeah.
This is like when he really worked on them and did cross-hatching. And so suddenly I realized, fuck, I just gave him a couple of prints. I don't think he understood what I gave him.
Right.
And we should probably drive him back, but we're exhausted and we're halfway through a 5-hour trip. So I ended up just taking them all the way back to New York with me. And I kept thinking, you know, I can't just keep these.
Right.
You know, that was just too much. But I was just trying to think of like, maybe I should do something with them. And so they're just sitting like in my studio, and David Quadrini, an art dealer from Dallas, was going to give me a show in Dallas. So he came up to look at work, and then he's like, "What is that?" You know, and I'm like, "Oh, it's a bunch of Daniel Johnston drawings." He goes, "Oh, I fucking love Daniel Johnston," and I'm like, "Yeah, he's cool." And then he goes, "Is there any way you guys could do something together?" I mean, he's been laying in bed for 5 years. I don't think he can do anything.
Right.
You know, I mean, no, I don't think he can. But I thought, shit, what can we do to collaborate? And I thought, fuck, you know, what if I took his drawings and blew them up into big paintings and then kind of rendered them, kind of like the way Disney couldn't really draw.
Right.
And but you know, then Mickey Mouse, once it was rendered by people that could really do art, it looked cool. And I thought that'd be a fun thing for him. Because he also had that record, Dead Dog's Eyeball by Kathy McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
And basically every great musician in Austin came together and made that record. And she goes, I know what he's thinking. I know what he's trying to do.
Right.
And so let's all get together and help him do that. You know, and that's what that record was. And I thought, well, I'll do that. What she did for him with music, I'll do that with art.
Yeah.
And so I made the show. And
so what year are we?
It's still early 90s.
Early 90s.
Yeah. So anyway, so we hooked up the show at the gallery, and then my brother-in-law's band, the Sucklets, learned all the songs, and we said, well, would you be willing to come up and, you know, attend the show and then do some songs next door at the bar with my brother-in-law? And he was into it, but as the time approached, he got nervous and he started panicking. And then he got really more and more ill, and so they took him to the insane asylum again. But this time he lived in Waller. Before, they had been dealing with the doctor in Waller. For 5 years, they've been dealing with this doctor in Waller. So basically, he just slept in his bed for 5 years.
Right.
They took him to Houston this time. The doctor's going, what the fuck do you have this kid on?
Right.
It's like, we have way better drugs now. It's like, and so they had him, and we knew he was in Houston in the mental institution. So I called his dad, and I said, well, you know, we're in town for the show, and we would just like to come down and go to the mental institution and say hi to him. And he goes, oh no, he's home. He's home. So, well, good. We'll come to Waller. Maybe we could even, you know, I don't know, take him out to a movie or something if he's, you know,
right, if it's good.
He's not too freaked out, you know. And they're like, and he's like, I think he can go to the show. He hasn't been this good since, like, you know,
before
the early 80s, you know, like the original Daniel Johnston.
Right.
Of course, we're terrified because remember the last time he went out with somebody, that was Sonic Youth. They lost him.
Right.
Like, I'm not fucking
Right.
And then he crashed the plane and everything else.
It's in the devil.
Yeah.
Oh, that's in the movie. That was in the movie. Right.
Yeah. So anyway, we go down to get him, and you know, we're driving, and thankfully, you know, my brother-in-law's like great with him because they both just adore the Beatles, and they're just about the Beatles. And we stopped at like some pizza place and then I lose him. But finally, I found him out behind a dumpster smoking because I think he didn't want to smoke in front of us.
Right.
And then we got into the show. We're having the show, and a lot of people are coming, and he seems like he's doing pretty good. And then I lose him again, you know. And I'm a real nervous guy. You probably know that. You know, you think Don's nuts. I'm nuts. You know.
I don't think you're nervous.
Well, anyway, I'm like, fuck, I lost Daniel again. Where's Daniel? And we're like, we don't know where Daniel is. And then I went out to the parking lot, and there were like a lot of people sitting in their cars smoking weed, you know. And I'm going, Carter, you got Daniel Johnson there. He can't smoke weed.
So wait, so what gallery
are you
like,
at? I don't know who the fuck you are.
What
Daniel
gallery are you at?
It was the Angstrom Gallery in Dallas.
Oh, so you're in Dallas. Okay.
No, we got him all the way to Dallas.
You're talking so quickly that I keep getting lost in the slip.
Yeah.
And I think I keep trying to
So we're at
finding the story.
I'm getting to it.
Oh, okay.
We said we had 3 hours.
I'm not trying to rush you.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to locate myself
Right.
in time and space.
Okay. Well, anyway, so we're at the show, and I find him finally, and he wasn't in these people's cars smoking weed. So we got through the show, and then we went to the bar, and it started raining, and like a few hundred people were trying to get into the bar. So like there's like 100 people outside just looking through the window trying to see Daniel Johnston, and he played the whole set with them like a champ.
Amazing.
And then we went back to Brandon's house, and me and him stayed up like all night long. And I'm like, what the fuck happened with Sonic Youth? And like he filled in all the weird gaps. It's like because he was present again, you know, he was like full on Daniel Johnston again.
Right.
So yeah, that's when we reconnected. And I said, well, was that fun for you? Would you like to do some more? Because I know the Museum of Contemporary Art in Washington D.C. is aware of the show, and they would really like something. So we ended up doing L.A. and D.C. and a few other places. And then after that, he kind of went out on his own, and his brother kind of took over being his manager. His dad. And so then after that, he went to Germany and Japan. And so after that, for years and years, he had a really huge career. But if we had not went and found him and like fucked him up, you know, by scaring him with the show, that God knows what happened to that kid, you know.
Right.
Wow.
So he resurrected Daniel.
So when he came, was that the time when he was in a mental institution, then he came out and got a record deal?
No, he had already got the record deal, and that's what put him in the first time. Because I think first he was like they were trying to get him on he didn't want to be on a label with Metallica because he thought they were devil worshiping band or whatever.
Yeah.
And they finally released Fun, which is weird because like we went to Tower Records or whatever to see the album actually in the stores, and they had it in the kids section. So I think the company really didn't know what to do.
No.
Right.
And I think that was Yves Bouvier. I think I'm trying to remember the guy's name. He was like, we're not going to sell any Daniel records, but he goes, it is my duty as somebody in this industry who's made a ton of money in this industry off of pop stuff, and it's my duty to make sure this guy gets archived, that he needs to be recorded. He's that important.
But they didn't understand how to market him.
Or maybe they wasn't an audience for him, but at least the guy back then, because records companies had a lot of money, and very few people are going to say this needs to be preserved. Right. We're not going to throw another Van Gogh under the bus,
right?
Because everybody wants to listen to Britney Spears or whatever they're listening at the time. We got to make sure that he gets a record, a real proper record,
Right.
So yeah, but yeah, I think they didn't really know how to market it.
So when were you actually painting with Daniel? Was that
first I was just rendering his. He was sending me I was doing his drawings, and then the gallery was selling the drawings. So I turned all the drawings over, those 200 drawings over to the gallery. They sold them and since they paid Daniel, I hope. But
didn't you collaborate on
that? That was very. Then he was like, I said, do you ever want to do that again? And he goes, yeah, but you're making all the money because you're selling big paintings. I'm selling little drawings. So, like, if you ever want to do this again, like, we should work together. So, at some point, maybe in the 2000s, he came up, and his brother said, I'll bring him up for 2 weeks, and he'll paint with you for 2 weeks. And then his brother kept booking him other stuff, so he never showed up. And then when he came to the studio, he fell asleep. And so we got a few things done, but not enough for a show. And then finally, like a few weeks before he died, I flew down there and worked with him in Waller to make the rest of the show. So it took about 15 years to make the show.
Wow.
So now we got to figure out where to show it and what to do with it. But me and Joe Johnston are making a musical about Daniel. So we'll try to tie those two things together and show those paintings.
So there are paintings that have never been seen?
Yeah, mostly, yeah.
I thought that, aren't there some on display at Alouche?
There were some, but it wasn't that many. There was a few. Yeah.
But his crowd's not going to understand that at all.
No.
Alouche's crowd's not going to understand.
No. That's true.
Huh. So there's an entire show waiting.
Well, yeah, we want to kind of finish this record, and we never know what we're doing until it happens. You probably figure that out, right? Like, we don't know we're going to do certain things, or like how is this going to manifest itself? You kind of wait and see what opportunities show up when you finish the product.
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting. Daniel was an interesting guy.
When did you know?
I know Don probably didn't tell a lot of road stories, right?
He told a couple of road stories.
I remember one time he tried to kill me. Well, okay, so like it's always weird with his parents.
Can you say Daniel Johnston tried to kill me?
Daniel Johnston has actually tried to kill me. No, his parents is like, you have to send us all the money. You can take him on the road, but like when he makes money, he's just going to buy candy bars with it and comic books. You have to send us the money. He doesn't get the money.
Right. He doesn't know what to do with it, apart from spend it on nonsense.
Oh, well, the way I always dealt with him, and whatever. I gave them I sent half the money back to them, and the other half I let him spend. But
fair.
he wasn't allowed to sell in the club, so I said, well, I just set up outside, and I was selling the stuff outside, and he thought I was just stealing it, And so then he came out swinging a microphone. And then I think later he realized that, oh fuck, he wasn't. He was just trying to help me. They wouldn't let him sell it in the club, or that his dad said you can't sell it in the club, but he didn't say you couldn't sell it on the sidewalk. So I think once he understood what had actually happened, then he goes, I'm so sorry, and I just want you to catch a really fancy dinner. And so he took me to Red Lobster. But no, awesome. Like when I took him around, like we took him through New York and stuff, and I just set him up, like we'd do the main show that was booked, and then we would just do these weird little side gigs, like at Sidewalk, and then everybody give him like $100 each. Like instead of $5, they give him $100. And so I take half that money and send it to his dad, and I take the other half and just here, and then because I thought, fuck it, let the kid buy some comic books. But I have this on film, like taking him from comic book to comic book, and I think all these comic book shop guys knew him. And literally, I filmed the register. It's like $5,000, $7,000 of just fucking comic books, and then I would ship them all back.
Kind of sounds like a dream.
Wow.
But you can see the comic book guys knew who the fuck he was. They're like, oh, ching ching. I guess we're not gonna have to close the shop.
Right. They're probably selling him good shit. I mean, when I go into a comic book store, I do drool over all those rare books. So it's kind of a dream to walk in and just buy.
Well, I'm not sure how discerning he was.
Think that they were
because I didn't know anything. I don't know anything about comic books to begin with. So
you didn't read comic books growing up?
Oh yeah, I did. But I was looking to Mike Plug and Werewolf by Night, and I can always pick the loser. You know what I mean? I was obsessed on the one that nobody likes. You know?
Werewolf by Night. That's really obscure.
Yeah, I mean, he was a great artist, Mike Plug. I still love him. And he was the one that introduced the hyper perspective stuff, and really good at drawing monsters, really bad at drawing children. So, I don't know. I thought, dude, if you can draw
is drawing children like a really important skill?
I think if there's supposed to be this innocent child like being menaced by this weird monster, that if you made the child like lovable and cute and not looking like a mini monster, that might help your storyline, right?
Yeah, it could help.
I don't know.
We're sorry we're shaking the table so much. It's very shaky, and because the camera sits on it, so it shakes. We need to get like some hydraulic suspension.
Well, maybe you shouldn't tell them that. Maybe you should tell me that. Well,
I'm telling you that too, but I'm just saying sorry to everybody.
She's doing it as like a PSA.
Yeah, and also hello to everybody that's joined us. Thank you. Hello, I threw a few of you on the screen then. So hello Mamba, hello Lewis, hello. Hello everybody. Thank you for joining us. Hello Dangerbot. I didn't say hello to you either, so I'll say hello to everybody. Thanks for joining us. We have the question. Somebody really wants to know about the rabbits and but he didn't help you on the rabbits, right? Because the rabbits is newer.
No, he never helped with the
rabbits, yeah. So what music did Daniel do with you? I think that's what
we had a band called the Hyperjinx Tricycle.
The Hyperjinx Tricycle.
That was a trivia question last time.
It was.
Yeah.
So there's no rabbit songs.
And we did periodically. We did other stuff together. So he appeared on Propaganda and a few other Revelations. He played the baby Jesus.
He did. Okay.
And the Rabbits is what we're doing now. So I think we have like 10 albums out.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. 10 albums.
Yeah. Well, the concept is it's all these characters from Delusionville, all my characters, and so I bring them all to life, and different singers play each one of the characters. So.
Do you ever
and the
sing?
shows were awesome.
Like Travi plays Paz.
But do you ever sing?
Sometimes, yeah. But I kind of save myself because I can always. It's like using yourself as a model. You try to get somebody else. Oh, like I did a famous show that really got me into a lot of trouble. There was this church in Paris, and they wanted like 14 famous artists, each one to do the Stations of the Cross.
Right.
I decided, I'll use Dred Scott Tyler. I decided to be kind of cool. He had dreadlocks or whatever. So he didn't show up to the modeling session.
Yeah.
And I had a deadline. And so my wife would just paint yourself. I'm like, are you kidding me? And she goes, who cares? It's like hanging my big blonde ass, and it created like a huge controversy. And then, well, of course, I fell in love with the controversy. And then I did a whole show of myself as Jesus and toured it through the South and created all kinds of controversy. But,
yeah.
Was that the first time you were put in the press for controversy? Or no? What was the first time?
I got in a fight with AC/DC. I know we got in the paper for that. And I don't know.
What was the fight with AC/DC?
I don't know. I was like a crazy person.
Is that while you were still in school?
No. I was in college. Yeah.
You were in college when that happened.
Yeah. I'd forgotten about it. I met one of my old friends that I hadn't seen in 30 years or 40 years. And he goes, man, he was crazy. It's like, you got to fight with AC/DC, it was in the paper.
Were you talking like verbal
concert? You took me to a Who concert and you only had one ticket. And you gave me the ticket and you said, go sit down and I'll figure out a way to get in there. And she goes, okay. She didn't say anything. What the fuck's up with this guy? 15 minutes later, I showed up. I'm like, I got in.
Yeah.
How I would get in? I would just go. They're security guys. They're policemen. They're off-duty policemen, and they just work the doors. Mm-hmm. And I just go beat on the door, and they go, "What do you want?" And it says, "I want to come in for free." And you can do that. And they're like, "You have no ticket. You just think I'm going to let you in?" It's like, well,
it's worth a
shot. I'm like, dude, okay, what the fuck? Come in. What do I give a shit? But they think about it, think, wow, dude, that's weird. It's like, yeah, well, there's 30 of you guys. I'll go ask all of you until one of you says,
well, what if you will? That's ballsy.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not ballsy. I mean, but they're not going to beat you up or anything, right? No. I did one thing. It's confident. I snuck in like that, or not snuck in because they're letting me in. But I remember they led me in, and we had to step over them. Some guy they were beating the shit out of.
Oh.
And, I don't know. Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. It's this whole thing like people act like, oh, cops are beating the shit out of people. It's like, haven't they always done that? Fuck. I mean, once we were in jail, and there was a bunch of us together, right? And so they led us into this big room, and there was like, I guess the sergeant was behind the desk or something, and there was like a naked guy, and he was old, you know, I mean, he was probably 60 years old, and he was naked, laying face down on the floor, and we're just kind of like slack-jawed, you know, going, the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And then they realized that we were kind of like,
what the fuck?
Yeah. So they thought it was funny as shit, so they went over and started kicking the shit out of him, and he never woke up. But they all took turns kicking him and laughing at us, and then they said, "What are you here for?" And I said, "Well, I got caught with hash, you know, second-degree felony." And they're like, "We're gonna smoke that shit. Don't worry about it." You know, no, they're fucking cruel.
Yeah.
Like when I was in jail in New York, remember like Abner Luima, and they stick in the. They were.
I wasn't here,
They were doing that shit to people.
Wow.
And it was kind of interesting because I got picked up for like putting up one sticker and possession of 3 stickers.
Possession of 3 stickers.
Yes, but I had 5 arresting officers, plain clothes.
That's a thing.
They kind of threw me down and beat me
They
up
were
a
really,
bit.
they were really tough about it in the 90s. I remember we got a big fine for stickering mailboxes.
That was when they were
And
cleaning New York.
We were really stupid because we put stickers that had our phone numbers and addresses on them.
See, I put other people's phone numbers and addresses.
So the cops literally came. We stickered mailboxes for an
Wow.
art show that we're having, and they came to our art show and gave us like $1,000.
Well, at least they didn't throw you in jail and give you felonies. Because I got a felony for putting up a sticker.
Things I'm learning about New York on this podcast. Tattoos were illegal.
No, but
stickers were illegal.
But we were outside the pharmacy, so the woman, you know, knew me. And when they threw me on the ground, and at first I didn't understand. I thought it was some of my friends just jumping me.
Right. Mess around. Yeah.
But then I think I don't know who the fuck you guys are. So but I know they were cops because they're plain clothes. I just think that shit, I'm getting shit kicked out of me. And then the bartender's screaming, "You can't arrest him. He's famous." And
Wow.
like that, they didn't understand.
No.
But the one guy took a liking to me. They took us to a couple jails, and then they took us down to the Tombs. And it was just me and my 5 arresting officers, which 5 people for 1 sticker. Because I can say you can arrest anybody else tonight. And they're like, no.
We've got
we had 1 person tonight.
Holy shit.
But anyway, yeah, they
with the sticker.
They had this latex rubber glove, and they made everybody line up down the hall and stick their butts out, and then went. They didn't change the glove or nothing, right?
Oh my god!
But the one guy in the car.
So I think Ron's lying to us.
No, I'm not.
So did they stick their finger in your ass, Ron?
Yes, but no, not mine.
Why? Why was your ass sacrosanct?
No, because on the way down, I thought I was going to go get a desk ticket 3 blocks away at the East Village because this is like on 14th Street. So like 3 or 4 blocks is. So I thought, I'm going to get a $50 fine or $100 fine. I mean, actually wearing a suit, and I'm out with Lenny, and we, been having. We just went to dinner, and we're going to have some drinks. So I told Lenny, I'll probably miss him around, but just hang, and I'll come back. I didn't understand they were going to keep me for 3 days, for a sticker.
What?
And possession.
But wait, but why did they stick their finger in your ass?
Okay, so like on the way down, again, now I'm happy. We just drank a bottle of wine. I figured I'd probably be back in a half an hour or whatever. Right. And so I'm
the hard hitting questions.
I'm chummy with the guy, right? Because I'm in a good mood. I'm like, wow, hey dude. It's like, hey, fuck, do you like parties? It's like I have this big loft down on Chambers Street, 6,000 square feet. And we have the 2 floors below us are empty. We thought we had bands there. Fucking Mick Jagger comes to my parties and shit. It's like fun as shit. You should come and hang with us, man. Because I'm in a good mood. I'm just thinking it's another guy at the bar, And then his one of his partners, they were like that. She kept saying, "You're gonna murder a kid," and I'm like, I don't understand what the fuck you're talking about. And then he's embarrassed.
Yeah,
that's his partner. And she goes, "You gotta get in the car and you're gonna run over a kid and kill him because you're drunk." Well, first off, I'm not drunk. We only had a bottle of wine. Maybe if you would have caught me an hour, I'd be drunk. Right. I'm not drunk, know. And I don't even have a fucking car, I came here in a cab, So how am I going to fucking run over a kid? What are you going to do? You're going to run over a kid. We just killed, And he was, you could tell he was humiliated. That's who he had to be a partner with. It's like, I don't know. She's insane. She's insane. She has a gun. I don't know. That's the police department. So I think because I made friends with them, and then when he realized what was about to happen, he said, because I kept saying, aren't you guys going to go arrest somebody else? And they're like, no. 1 guy tonight, 1 sticker. He said, oh, fuck it. I'm going to come with you. And I didn't understand what they were doing. He goes, do you have any money? And I said, yeah, I got about $500. And he goes, put it in your shoe. And he goes, any money you have is theirs. They're going to take whatever money you have. Yeah, $2,000, that's their money. Whatever money's in your wallet is their money. They're going to take it.
Right.
And so he helped me do that. And then as they came down, he goes, not him. He stood right next to me, and as they were doing everybody, when they got to me, he goes, not him. And they're like, oh, yeah. Cool, man. No problem. So
Wow.
because that was nice to him. That he,
right. And that was at Pharmacy?
At Pharmacy, yeah.
That was a good spot.
That was great.
Yeah.
Back
Yeah.
then,
They've kept you for 3 days.
For a sticker.
Whoa, that's brutal.
And that's the early 90s?
well, also I got a felony charge. I got 5 charges, like endangering the public, illegal advertising. But one of the charges was felony. Yeah.
See, over it, you just get
I
done.
don't know.
Littering. That's
It's
what
just-
you get.
It's
It's
defacing and littering. That's it, really.
putting a sticker up. Yeah.
No, because I got the next administration. That was Giuliani. The next administration, Bloomberg, same thing happened. I got arrested for the putting up posters, and nothing. I got nothing.
Right.
No, they took me in front of the judge, and they said, "Well, you're going to 200 hours community service," and I said, "I don't want to do community service." And they said, "No, nothing."
Nothing there. All right, fine.
Okay.
You just go.
So-
you can just go.
No, they don't give a fuck. They're running 200 people
Yeah.
through there like in an hour.
Right. I mean, it's the same thing here with if you get a ticket for speeding,
Yeah.
you never plead guilty on the form. You just go and argue it with the judge, and they'll give you like, oh, okay, well, you have a parking ticket. It doesn't make any sense here. It's crazy.
It's fluid.
Well,
It's
also,
fluid.
like when you're on the
Fluid.
police force, what you do is I'll give you 5 charges. That way, if we go battle in court, then you can knock off 3 of the
Yeah.
charges, but I still get you on 2. If I just gave you 1, you beat the 1 charge.
Right.
It's hard to beat 5 charges. It's hard for the
Yeah.
stand in front of the judge and say, let's drop all charges.
charges.
Let's drop 3 of them. You know.
Right.
So,
Well, don't forget to ask your questions in the chat.
yeah, so you
Anybody
went
that
to
wants know
school in
anything
Texas. I can tell by your accent that you're not from Texas.
Midwest, yeah.
And you come to New York.
Mhm.
Were you immediately hired by Kostabi?
No. Nobody would hire me. Actually, I came to New York with 8 billboards all rolled up in a bundle. And then I went from I took a bus to the city from the airport and they had to put my 8 rolled up billboards in the bottom. And the only thing I owned was a couple Daniel Johnston tapes and a Bob Dylan tape. So I had a little Ghetto Blaster, a couple Bob Dylan tapes, a couple Daniel Johnston tapes, and some billboards. And one of the billboards was
But
actually
you had a vision.
one of the billboards was actually of Daniel Johnston, and I didn't have any money, and I couldn't get onto the billboards because you needed a ladder, so I just climbed on buildings and put them on the side of buildings.
So you knew people in New York. You came.
No, I knew nobody. No.
You just
Came
turned
here
up.
with billboards, no money. What happened to your first night?
What sort of age are we talking about, roughly?
Well, I went to graduate school, so I was probably like 26 by then.
Right, got it. Okay.
Yeah, I was a full-grown adult.
So you're a man on a mission. You knew what you were getting into.
I knew that you had to go to New York to make it.
What were you going to eat that night with no money?
Oh, I had money.
Oh, you had money. I thought you
Yeah.
had no money.
Actually, I totaled my car the week before I went, and I had the money from the insurance.
Did you total it on? It's statute of limitations is
Okay.
over.
Well, I didn't have any breaks, but this sorority girl, it was like the end of the semester, and she was super drunk, and she was waving to all her friends out of her convertible and ran a light and smashed me.
Oh.
So you didn't.
So nobody
intentionally-
realized I didn't have brakes.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
You didn't
It wasn't your
intentionally
fault,
destroy
so.
the car.
no.
So you had.
It was just a lucky break.
It was a lucky break. Get it?
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah.
So you came
No,
to New York
first
City with the
I
insurance.
had a
money.
hard time finding work. I was living in a legal place, and the doorman was trying to bust me, and then this woman shows up, like with this woman's there with suitcases, and he's living there, and now he's got a roommate, and it turned out she was had a backpack, not suitcases, and so I think that I was drunk at a party just before I left Austin. And she goes, I'm going to tour Europe by myself. And I'm like, oh, no, you don't want to do that, honey. It's like, I'll come with you,
Yeah.
And I think she remembered I said that, showed up in New York, but let's go to Europe. So I just subleased that part of it when he was supposed to live in. And then we went to Europe, and then we came back in the fall and took on New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what'd you do with those billboards?
Well, like I didn't know what to do. So it's like walking around, I tried to get a job at Pearl Paint because you think that's a good job. But it's really hard to get a job there, or it was. And like then you try to find things to do. Like I saw a bunch of people going into a squad, and I thought, oh, it's a party, I'll just go in, and I went in, and some guys like asked, what are your political affiliations, and blah blah blah, and you like this or that, I'm like, I was like, I don't know. And then he started talking about the environment and stuff, and it's like, well, do you believe that like see the guy being all these people are just destroying the environment and killing kids? I say, yeah, they are, yeah. So, well, why don't you do something about it? I'm like, I don't know. Just trying to survive, man. And so then he signed me up for Greenpeace. So that was my first job, was Greenpeace. Yeah, going door to door and begging money. I literally went to the house of Zema, the person that was killing the kids.
Yeah.
The CEO.
With
he wasn't there. His wife was there.
Clipboard.
She's like, get the fuck out of here. And then I started doing my spiel, and she goes, look, I'm going to give you $20.
Don't come back.
Because I can't write a check because my husband can't know that I wrote a check to you assholes.
Yeah.
You know? And then I kind of went off on her. I'm like, I understand, you're killing kids. You're killing kids. You're dumping all these toxins into this pond, and you're killing half the kids in this town. Right. And she goes, you're just like a little hippie. You don't understand. Our kids have to go to Harvard. We live a different life. You would not understand that because you're just a dirty little hippie. You know? Like, okay, lady. Yeah. You got to kill other kids so your kids can go to Harvard. I'm with you, man. Yeah.
That's the way it works.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately.
But and here's the really bad part. Because it was cash, I stole the money. Because I was hungry. I didn't eat every day.
I can't imagine that Greenpeace pays well.
Well, I already went through that. That was only $600 or something.
Okay.
That was just like 3 months later, 4 months later. How much money do you think I got for a fucking Toyota?
I don't know.
But anyway, just because, you know, I stole $20 from Greenpeace. And I weighed on my mind.
Only $20?
Yeah, the lady gave me $20. Everybody else would give me a check.
Right.
And I didn't have any money, and I hadn't eaten. So I thought, fuck it, I got some Chinese food. And then a few years later, when I was like more successful artist, I actually donated a giant painting worth $20,000 at that time to Greenpeace. So,
so you paid it back.
Became $20,000. So,
nice.
So my conscience is clear. Nice. But yeah, for a few years, I kept thinking, oh, fuck, I ripped off Greenpeace. But, I don't know. For $20, yeah.
Wow. There's worse crime.
Hey, we're square now. I made it.
Square.
Yeah. All good. That's all. It's all out there now in the open.
Right. Yeah.
This is a public forum to get it all out.
Well, it's funny. You know,
what other sins would you like to confess to me?
Oh, okay.
Confession. Yeah. Confession with Rob.
This is Clutter Confessions.
I don't know.
That's a different show.
No, this show. It's happening right now.
Different show.
What else do you want to confess?
Well, no, even like with the Danny thing, I never took a dime from him. You know, I took him on tour for free, and I gave all the money to his parents, and half to him. But I mean, that ain't stealing, you know.
Yeah, but tell us something bad.
I just don't do bad stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't. I'm a decent person.
So, your painting career, you brought all these billboards. What did you do with those billboards?
I put them up because I didn't have a ladder and I couldn't get up onto the billboards, and I didn't have $100 for a ladder. I just started putting them up on construction sites or something. If I could climb and put it on the side of a wall. I think I got one on the billboard because like we could climb to another building from where we were staying. That was interesting though because I put one of these hand painted billboards or two of them up in Soho, and this guy painted all over them. Guess who the guy was? Basquiat.
Yeah.
So if I had any wits about me, because I was just pissed at it.
Yeah.
Right.
See, fucker, I hand painted that shit and you just fucking went over it.
Yeah. Do you have personal memories with him?
No, he used to come to my parties. Then after that, I became a party thrower, you know, like at the Limelight, different places, to like a promoter.
What was his name?
Who?
With the eye patch?
Rudolph. Yeah.
No. What was his name?
Rudolph. Rudolph. Yeah.
No, the owner.
Oh, yeah.
Owner.
Peter
Gation. Yes.
Yeah.
So you were at the Limelight.
Well, that was one of the places. I promoted the Tunnel, Limelight, the World.
I promoted shows from the Tunnel too.
Yeah, the Red Zone, and they would pay you like $2 a head or whatever, and they give you a shoebox full of money at the end of the night. Oh, yeah. But so Basquiat would come to my stuff, but I didn't interact with him that much. He couldn't figure out like he goes, why do you make these invitations with somebody else's on them? Because I had I was a photographer back then for the most part, so I had a model, Scott Heron, that I used a lot.
Aren't you still a photographer?
A bit, yeah. So I think that's the only conversation I remember having with him was he couldn't figure out, like, it's like, this is your fame and you're giving it to somebody else. It's like, yeah, it's like, but he's my model. Like, yeah, you'll figure it out.
So what did you learn first, to paint or to photograph?
Well, I knew how to paint from high school. And then I thought I did photography because I thought it was a new art form and I could do different stuff, which I was able to do. I was able to do stuff that had never been done. Right. So I actually got into really big shows and got to go on lecture circuit with a lot of really famous people. And
photography first.
While I was still in school. Yeah. And I was also very naive because it's like, you hear your teachers and you know, you're just like, Is it a good thing to have a show at the Pompidou? And then they hated me.
Right.
And I couldn't figure out why they hated me because I was homeless.
Right.
But in college,
Right.
I ran out of money and had nowhere to live. I lived in my truck, and I'm just thinking, why do you hate me?
Right.
And then it took me like till I grew up to realize it's like
Jealous.
you probably seem like a little fucking prick,
Right.
know? But I honestly didn't know if that was a good thing or not, or I
Right.
knew nothing because
Right.
I'm from a very poor little trailer park trash bullshit, So
Right.
I didn't know.
Right.
I don't know, whatever. Life is crazy.
We got Mumbot saying here that Ron, your party in Miami was the best of all time.
That's very nice.
Was that was with the people from
Elro, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a delusional party.
Yeah.
So we had like 100 performers playing all the different characters, and we got to build all their houses and their cars gigantic.
It looked amazing. Where did that was pre-pandemic that started?
Yeah, we started it. Oh, it's interesting because the pandemic had already started. And they were saying, we want you to come see the previous iteration of it with the last artist. We want to, so you can understand what this is.
Was that in Barcelona? Was that the thing that you went to in Barcelona? Or
I think it might have been in Barcelona, yeah. But I remember, I think, fuck, this plague has already hit. I think it only hit Portland at that point or something. And I'm like, man, it's coming. But I thought, I bet it'd be 6 weeks before it hit Spain.
Right.
And this is just too big of a deal, so I'm going to fucking go. And then suddenly you're at this thing with 10,000 people, and they're spitting on you. Well, not spitting on you to be mean. They're trying to talk to you,
right.
and it's so loud, and they're just holding you. They won't let you go. You just get sprayed.
Like,
and you go,
oh, no.
Fuck that.
You didn't get COVID at that party.
But I didn't seem to get it there. I guess I got it with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, fun.
That was a good
Well,
night.
it was funny back
That
then.
was season.
Back then, my instinct was just get it over with. But that wasn't the smartest thing to do.
We were stupid. We were naive.
What was Cece going to say? Go on, Cece.
I was just going to say that, yeah, that Biggie party was a fun little party, though, wasn't it?
It was a fun party. If that's where we caught it.
I think, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
I think we caught it at.
I don't think karaoke is the smartest thing to do during the pandemic. But,
no.
Karaoke was after that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was after that, and then you
event.
guys went to Ron's house.
But they had the event in New York.
We gave it to you at your house.
That's
We
right.
brought it to you
okay.
the next night.
We're not. Yeah, but I remember I thought we're not doing this, and you're like, we put all of our money into this.
Yeah.
We're doing
Well,
this.
Tulsa, and you came with like wipes and disinfectant and stuff, and I was like, wow, that's planning. Because nobody was really taking it seriously.
Down and we were thinking, well, first we said we're not going to do it, and then we got talked into doing it. And then they go, well, how are we going to deal with this? And I said, well, we'll get wipes.
Yeah.
But she went to 7 different stores and got nothing.
None.
And I like, just go get a gallon of bleach.
Yeah.
And some paper towels. It's like same shit.
That's
right?
Crazy.
But yeah, everybody was already wiped out of.
People still came to that party, and we were all kind of standing around freaked out.
Well, because nobody in New York, like nobody was wearing a mask, nobody was doing anything.
I just thought maybe if I stayed across the big table and
it was fine, like the flu. Don't get too close.
Yeah, that was right at the very beginning. That was February, right? We did that on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and then you were in the hospital.
Yeah.
And my doctor told me she sent me over some kind of respirator.
Yeah.
And she says if you have to use this, say goodbye to your family because you're probably not coming back out of the hospital.
You had it really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, thanks.
But it turns out that they weren't supposed to be putting people on respirators. That's what was killing them.
That was.
Their lungs.
Yeah.
So if I would have went to the hospital, I might have got fucked up.
I think so.
Have you fully recovered? I remember you had.
I've already got it twice more since then.
Yeah.
The last one was kind of bad. And that was even after the shots. So
yeah.
And I think that's what our friend Travi had. It's like, why do I still have this 4 weeks later? It's like, yeah, I think it takes about 6 weeks now. Yeah.
Yeah. It can be kind of endless.
Yeah. Wow. It's it's just part of our lives now. So
yeah. At least we're doing it together.
We'll get it every year. Yeah. I assume.
Alex, what's your shirt?
Oh, yo, I love this shirt so much.
Yes,
it's Taylor Swift. It's a Taylor Swift shirt. Then on the back, I don't know if you can see it, but it says Swift, 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 the Mark of the Beast.
Yep.
By Meth Syndicate. Look him up on Instagram. He has all the fucking clever shirts.
There you go. Love Alex's shirt.
Question for you, Ron. Have you done lots of acid?
No.
Where's the inspiration?
People ask me
for the psychedelic.
People ask me about acid. I don't.
Have you done psychedelics?
I took acid a couple times and nothing happened. Then I took it and like the serious shit happened. I think it was like Blue Barrel or maybe Orange Sunshine from Chicago. And I had an out-of-body experience, and then I never did it again. So basically once.
You feel like one time you had the good stuff.
But no, that's not what made me. I was psychedelic before that.
You feel like
it has absolutely nothing to do.
Nothing to do with it.
No, I'm not a druggie or anything. But
where do the visions come from?
I mean, it's just called an imagination.
I don't know.
You were at Woodstock '99.
Oh yeah. We did all of Woodstock. First one,
yeah. We talked about that a little bit after the documentary came out.
Were there good drugs? Stock 99?
Yeah. But not acid. Yeah.
Did you just say, was there a lot of drugs at Woodstock?
I said, were there good drugs?
Good drugs.
Good drugs.
Okay.
Wait, you saw the shit go down, Ron?
Huh?
He did see the shit go down.
Well,
which side of the fence were you on, Ron?
Well, it was kind of weird because for the last couple of weeks, I did art for them, so we had a big art show there, and so we had all access VIP passes, and so kind of like everybody was out there, and these people, they should have burned the place down.
It wasn't as bad.
No, they we're on an Air Force field. We're not in a beautiful meadow. They had run water to everybody's camp so everybody could get free water. And it was just PCV pipes on the surface, not even buried.
Yeah, so it's hot.
So how long do you think that lasts?
And
then now it's just making big mud pits, and then the mud pits are mingling with the overflowing porta potties, and it's like, and then the water that you had to stand in line for 20 minutes to get a water, and it's $4, and it's $8, and it's $12. By the time you're charging me $12 for water, and I was supposed to get free water, and as a matter of fact, I brought in my own water in, and they dumped it all out in front of me. Because they wanted to make money off of it.
Yeah. So it was as bad.
But we felt bad because we had, of course, we're backstage, eating fancy food and drinking with the rock stars, and then we would go out amongst the crowd, but when it get hot and we needed a drink, we felt a little weird about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when they started burning it down, it seems that's what they should do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's logical. Yeah.
You did a bunch of murals there?
Yeah. I think they all went up. It was art. Yeah, there was an art show at a big tent. I think they just burned the whole thing down. I don't know. It was a riot.
Crazy.
But at least otherwise we wouldn't be talking about it. So
no, it's
something
true.
had to
That's
happen.
true. That's true.
They did the right thing.
You didn't go to the first one.
No, but on the last one, I brought a guy with me that had went to the first one because I thought, you need to come to because I probably won't do another one after this.
Right.
And so you're going to be my partner. And we're going to go there, and I got all backstage passes, and it'll be really fun. And he was a little mortified.
I bet. This is not the same. This is not the same. So, what was the first toy that you made, and how did that come around?
It was the Rabbit, Ronnie Rabbit, and I made it for Tower Records.
Yeah.
I think, and then later it was released. Let's see if I can remember right. Then it was before the toy culture.
Right.
Like they mass produced it and put it in Tower Records. It's like a weird novelty thing. Yeah.
So at that point, what year is that? That's the only question I'm going to ask.
I know.
I just keep trying to put it in time, Ron.
Was that
I don't remember.
2000s, 2002?
Yeah. It was like it was a couple years before it really started to happen. Yeah.
And had you seen the Michael Lau stuff at that point? Had you seen the other stuff?
Yeah, I think he was starting to do stuff. But there was a culture like Dark Horse, and they would do independent artists, and so I think then I released it with Dark Horse, and then they distributed it through Tower.
Right.
So I mean, Gary Basin was doing stuff, I was doing stuff. So there was a culture of doing that, but it just wasn't the soft vinyl yet or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's like nothing just happens. It's always there a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And then it gets big.
So your first toy was
the Rabbit.
Rabbit, yeah.
And then
later we started making more limited editions. I think the next one I did was with Lev.
I was going to say, did you work with Lev next?
And he was super paranoid about it because it was MC supersized, and he thought McDonald's was going to sue him, so he was like selling them under the counter. And then I did a couple of the other people, and then finally I said I'm going to do my own, and then I did Fat Tony, and it just blew up. And
was Fat Tony the first one?
Of the serial killer.
MC Supersize.
No, M-Size would have blown up if he didn't hide it.
Right.
And so I didn't hide it. It's like, yeah, it's Fat Tony. Sue me. So we even got like Time and NPR. And
did you only make
the other one would have done that too, but Lev was too scared.
Was the other was the only toy that you made with Strange Co.
Kathy
Cowgirl.
yeah.
Is that the only toy you did with them?
Yeah. And that one didn't sell because it turned out that the toy guys were kind of, they don't like sexuality or they weren't who I thought they were. They weren't like hipsters. They were like toy guys, you know.
Toy guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like. I guess we all make our decisions, and I gambled that the toy culture would expand. It wouldn't be those original core people. That it would get bigger, and that the kind of stuff I do.
I mean, it seems like
later get
sometimes
embraced.
it does expand and then it
contracts.
contracts,
Right.
and it alters. But I guess we're all sort of wondering, does it ever get big? But I don't know.
But after Kid Robot, every celebrity I know was collecting toys.
Yes, that's true. Because I did that big push for celebrity, and I did that custom show where everybody famous did a custom, and they had a show in Soho somewhere at the time.
And Toy Art Gallery, Gino too.
Yes,
because he was like right on Melrose. So like a lot of the rap guys that I'm friends with now that's how they found them, like through the toys.
Yeah,
you know?
Makes
So,
sense.
what's your favorite Lev story?
Well, there's the one when he went to Turkey and climbed the mountain to get the last.
Is that the
toy
way it
or-
goes?
Yeah,
Is that the
I think we all have he's like Jesus, and he went or Moses, and he went to the top of the mountain and got the magic toy, and some people say it was his.
That's not your Lev story, though. That's his story.
That's his story.
That's
But
his
we all
story.
tell it. You know,
It's
we all
true.
it's a legend.
It is.
Yeah.
We all tell our own version of it.
It is.
Oh no, Rusty Pistachio brought me to his
Who's Rusty Pistachio?
H2O. The punk band H2O.
H2O.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were roommates. We're studio mates. We shared a art studio. So he said, "Oh, there's this great culture. You know, come meet Lev. He's cool." And it was just like a scene show.
Yeah.
So I was super into scene. So
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. He liked me. We got on.
Yeah.
Seems like
Then he started
music
taking me
and
to the
art.
Funko thing.
Oh.
And then I started bringing my son. And I'm like, dude. And when at first it was just like,
How do you feel about Funkos?
Well, it was like 100 people, right? And it was these bobbleheads.
Right.
It was like a real nerd thing.
Yeah.
And but you know, Lev had a table, and he'd bring me. My thing was, me and Mars went like since he's a little boy, and then Lev would give us a couple seats at his table, and it was fun. You got some bobbleheads or whatever, but it was like very small and very nerdy and very. It's like 100 people, and then this guy Brian took it over, and I thought, oh my god, this guy knows what the fuck he's doing. And I remember taking my son. I said, you know, you're later going to go to college, but like I want you to watch this guy MD, and I want you to watch this guy Brian, and you're going to learn more from them than when you go to college. Because watch him, he's going to do something. I don't know what the fuck he's going to do, but he's going to do something. He's got something figured out, and he did. He figured out that these guys had licenses for all these different things, and they were making these bobbleheads, but the license was like this narrow. Now, what if it doesn't bobble? And what if we make the eyes a little bigger? And I think he did a couple of iterations till he hit it just perfect. And then it took off. And he bought the company for $80,000.
Wow.
And I thought, again, you know, it's like the Lev story. It's like, you know what? I'm probably just telling some story that's not true. and I met him in China, and we were hanging out with MD. And then I said, look, Brian, I always tell the story of how you bought the company for $80,000, and I know that's probably not true, and I got to quit doing that. And he goes, "No, that's true."
Okay.
It's like, damn, dude, it's $1 billion company.
Yeah.
You know, so,
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, and you know, I think my son learned a lot from him. You know, watching him build that thing up. That's how you do it. That's how it's done. Yeah. Brilliant guy.
Yeah.
What about the other Brian?
And MD's fucking genius too.
Yeah.
Yeah, working with him is just like.
Tell us your favorite MD story.
It's funny because he had done like the boy bands and stuff and lived this whole other life. And so he came into the toy thing and just thought, I'm going to treat this different. So like, and he would get like, I don't know if you remember, he'd get like 15 booths at Comic-Con or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's when I thought, oh fuck, I want to be with that guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's probably losing money. Who knows? I don't know. But I mean, he's like, go big or go home, you know? But like, and he takes Travi McCoy on tour too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's like, well, I'm going to have the police come pick you up at the airport, you know, police escort the whole way. And you're going to have 10 bodyguards. And I'm like, I don't think I need a police escort. And I don't think I need 10 bodyguards. I think it's show business. Yeah. And then it's kind of like what they did with the Beatles. It's like, first, it was just like 3 girls trying to get in from the alley. And he goes, I'm going to make you a big star. Well, I don't know. So we go. He never tells me what the fuck's going on. So like we go to this. We tour. We go from town to town. And the first tour is like nobody showed up. It was fucked up. Like a couple of years of just touring and meeting with the local press. And he goes, we're just making friends with everybody. And not a lot's going to happen. He knew exactly what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah.
And then of course, every fucking time we're sitting up for 8 hours on a train, he's business book. That's all he devoured. And then I watched him do it. Like we go to this Comic-Con, like we're just going from country to country. And then at some point it's like, why is it all my shit everywhere? And he goes, because it's my fucking convention.
Yeah.
Like, damn. I mean, because he doesn't mention to you, oh, I run the comic conventions in China.
Right.
He doesn't even mention that. You know, everything's chill, you know?
Yeah.
And then he goes, now we want people to like feel it. So like how we create that is they got an intercom and they said, you know, artist Ron English will be at the main stage giving away free toys. And everybody in the whole place came to get the free toys. So I'm just giving everybody free toys. They got a bunch of my little tin bodyguards or whatever. And then the toys run out. And then his crew just starts taking pictures like crazy because suddenly there's 1,000 kids trying to get a free toy, but there are no toys. So suddenly the picture is there's 1,000 kids trying to attack Ron. Why? And then you put that out there, and then the next time he takes you to something, the kids think that's how they're supposed to act. So by the time we did our last show together, it's like the first day there were 10,000 people from the press. Wow. And the next day was the real show, and they couldn't even take me to the real show. It was just a fucking riot, you know. But I watched him build that up, and he made a partnership with their version of Instagram, and I did like a 4-hour live feed with them. And I mean, the guy knows what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. The pictures from the last one were just insane.
Yeah.
Just
and his best friend's Brian. You know.
Yeah.
Those guys are
tight.
Tight. Yeah.
All right. Any questions from the chat? Will you release Foo Fairy and Cocoa Puffed Punch in 8-inch size?
Oh, that'd probably be a smart thing to do.
Yeah, maybe.
We haven't made any toys in 3 years, I think, since the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean,
because they shut China down for 3 years, and
it's been difficult.
I think Pooh Fairy would be pretty easy stall.
Yeah.
But we should
be a good one.
Yeah.
That'd be a good.
But you know, the thing is, it's the Last Supper, so
right.
I felt like I was done when I made the Last Supper, and then when we made the minis, we did a couple extra ones. But
so now you have
I felt
to
like okay, good, because that took 10 years to one at a time.
Yeah.
It took a long time to make that Last Supper.
Yeah. Do you think
I have a brilliant painting of it for the show in May if anybody wants to come to the show.
Yep. Yeah. When's the show? It's to everybody.
May. Alouche Gallery in Soho.
Alouche Gallery in Soho, May. When is it open?
Plenty of time to forget about it. It'll be like the first weekend in May.
First weekend in May. So if you're in New York, check it out.
Or if you want to fly in.
I have a question for Ron. So like you're holding your Grin right here. Can you talk a little bit about where you conceived the Grin smile and how that came to be?
Well, first I did I did Charlie Brown, and then I had him grinning, and I had a normal skull inside his head, and that was the first painting I did like that. And then I thought, well, you know, that's probably not what a skull would look like a real human skull. So I did another skull that looked more like this, and then I thought, hell, it should be this smiley face. And then after that, it was off to the races. But it was perfect for what I did, you know, like propaganda. And I'm making fun of corporations that use really cute mascots to kind of mask, you know, maybe some erroneous behavior. You know, like they present a super happy face, like we're MetLife, and so our icon's Snoopy, and you can't hate Snoopy, so you can't. It's hard to criticize Snoopy, and if that's your front, is that cartoon character. So I basically made the cartoon character, and then the Grin, you can see the dark underside. But you know, sometimes it's I don't know. Sometimes an image just goes, and it to me, I equate everything to music because I also deal with music, so I see the same thing happen. Like, I don't think Kurt Cobain knew that was the fucking song of the century. He didn't know. No. As a matter of fact, I think they were mixing it, and they called him, woke him up, says, "You better get down here," because they thought it was going to be "Come as You Are," you know, not "Smells Like Teen Spirit." That was a throwaway song.
Yeah.
But you don't know.
No.
You know.
No.
People think you know. You don't know.
No.
Yeah.
It's true.
What's interesting to me about the Grin as well, because you're talking about how it's like a cute mascot. I remember when I was living in Brooklyn, I would see kids with the Grin mascot on backpacks walking down the street, and I'm like, yeah, that's amazing. Like, you know, here's all your artwork, you know, transcending, and like, you know, integrating into all sorts of like different age ranges and cultures and everything. So I mean, that's really cool that you're able to like bridge that gap into to popular culture while it's still kind of like a tongue-in-cheek sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. I think the whole world's kind of tongue-in-cheek now. So no, somebody told me, it's like, none of your stuff made sense, and now it all makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
How did you originally come up with the Marilyn Mickey?
We were having a party in Austin, and so one of the women, it was called Invading Aliens from the Beach, and it was like our beach party, and we had a big patio out in the back, and I painted it to look like a trompe l'oeil swimming pool. Mm-hmm. And actually, we had a little bungalows in the back. I lived in one of the bungalows. It was a balcony, and people were jumping off the balcony into the pool that didn't exist. Right. It was a little crazy. But so for the flyer, I took April, and I took a couple people from the house. And so one of the guys, I made her breast, his tits, or I think half the time I threw a party every 2 weeks just to do the flyer or the art or whatever. But yeah, so it was her with one of the other guys from the house, like that was her tits, and then her vagina was him with his beard, and I thought that was a pretty interesting image, and I made a painting of it, and I think it was the first painting I sold in New York, and then it sort of occurred to me that this needs to be, to make it iconic and big, it needs to be Marilyn and Mickey.
Okay, so the idea was sort of there, and then
well, then it makes sense because it's like the mother of pop.
Yeah,
and she's not a real person; she's a cartoon character.
Yeah.
They're both just as real to us, Mickey and Marilyn.
So was there a certain point in your career where you felt like you were hitting your stride and you're starting to make it? Was it MC Supersize? Was it Marilyn Mickey?
I always thought like I'm like Tom Petty. It's like, it's like I'm not the Rolling Stones, but I always get hits. So I'll always have a career because I keep getting hits,
But was the first one, I don't remember the order. Was it MC Supersize or Marilyn Mickey first?
The toys?
No, just in terms of
images,
that iconic image.
Marilyn Mickey?
Yeah, I think Marilyn was the first.
Marilyn was the first
one. And then the second was actually color corrected. That went pretty big. It was a Norman Rockwell painting of them turning the Cub Scout into a Boy Scout. They're like changing him out, his uniform out. And then I made it a little black boy. He's like kind of all lit up and colorful. Yeah. And then everybody else looks like they're covered in dust. And for some reason, that one super popped and got famous.
And where were you showing at that time?
I premiered that painting in DC. So it was kind of interesting because it was like the Black Muslims were like in the same complex. So like a couple of years, I think the show I had before.
DC, there's an art gallery.
It's called the Museum of Contemporary Art in DC. And it was part of a complex. And then the part of the complex were the Black Muslims. And I remember a couple of years before, maybe about a year before, I did a show. But it was all like weird political stuff. I did like Kennedy is a horny dinosaur or whatever. And actually, all those people came to the show. All these famous politicians came to the show because they knew they were in the show, like Dick Armey and everybody that was big back then. And but one of them was Malcolm X, and it's that famous picture of him like going like this because he's holding the paper, and he's not really flipping you off. And then I put the X-Men on top of it, and then made that his penis. And then we put that in the front window, and it kind of they fit together perfectly, and also it's kind of
so this enraged the Black Muslims. This is right because
they don't like Malcolm X.
They don't like Malcolm X.
No, they killed him.
Why did they kill Malcolm X? I gotta go back and watch the movie.
Whatever. Anyway, well, no, we come by the show before it's open, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to come to the show, and the painting's not.
So people are just texting me that I just got canceled for not knowing why the Black Muslims killed him. I'm sorry.
But anyway, so where's the painting? And he goes, oh, they came by and they were super angry, and so I took it down. And they're going to smash the windows out and stuff, and I'm like, I like that painting. It was a good painting. I mean, it's really something worked about it. It's like sometimes things have got a little magic. And I put the fucking painting up. I'll deal with them. Okay, that's what I'll deal with them. So we go eat. We come back and he put the painting up. You sure? Yeah, put the fuck up. Fuck them. It's like, I'm honest. But no, they show up. And now I'm not so cocky anymore. I'm like, my knees are shaking.
Is that what happens? Because there's been a few times where
because they surrounded me and they're super like. I'm like, there's a lot of you guys, and they're like, we told you to take that down. It's like, yeah, we didn't, and they said, well, we were going to knock the windows out of this fucking shit. We told you to take it down. You take it down, and I'm like, okay, I'll tell you what. Walk around, look at the whole show, contextualize this painting in my broader work. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying in this larger context. And then if you still want this painting out of the show or you want to break the windows, I'll go out in the fucking alley and get the bricks for you. Is that fair? No, like, okay, fair enough. And they slowly, with their arms crossed in a line, they just walked around the whole show. And then they came back and surrounded me again, stared at me for a minute, made me nervous. And then the guy says, "Can I shake your hand?" And I shook each one of their hands and they said, "Thank you for making that painting." And then they filed out.
That's intense.
I don't even know if they saw anything that showed that changed their mind. They probably just thought, maybe we're not getting something. It seems stupid. I don't know.
Or at least they decided to take you seriously.
Yeah, I don't know. So 2 years later, when I showed Color Corrected, I thought, they're going to be mad about this one. I don't know, because I'm not black. I don't understand what it's like to be black. I got the idea because one of my black friends said, "You know what it's like to grow up and not see your fucking stuff on TV." And I love Norman Rockwell. Any black people in Norman Rockwell painting? Yeah, no. And he goes, "Would you make me a Norman Rockwell painting with all black people?" And I said, "Well, that's not enough of an idea." And then it hit me. It's like, oh, that's the idea.
Right.
Yeah, they're trying to cram him into this other culture. So I already got a fucking cool culture, bitches.
Right.
But I didn't know how. Because of the incident last time, I didn't know how it was going to be taken. And again, I went out in the alley to take a piss, and this big guy followed me out there. And I'm like, oh fuck. I guess that painting didn't go over. And he goes, "How the fuck did you know to make that painting?"
Yeah.
I mean, just because I haven't had the same life experiences, you don't mean I can't empathize or understand.
Right.
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 He goes, "Well, and again, thank you for making that painting." So it went over. It was good. But I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah, but you've kept going, and like you're saying, you've had multiple images that have been hits and worked.
How do you deal with people that criticize you or write online like upsetting things? Do you ever let it get to you, or do you just like, whatever, haters hating?
I didn't know people did that.
Well, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna quit making art tomorrow. I know. I think one of our crew was like one of those guys, and then we kind of figured out it was him.
Writing bad things about you.
Oh, and also like a couple of my friends from Illinois, same thing, and they were actually threatening my life and shit. And then I went back to Illinois and I'm going, "Hey, what's up, man? Remember you threatened my life?" And he goes, "I was just kidding, right?" I know. I don't know. I think people just say all kinds of smack.
Yeah.
But I think you want to be an agitator and you want to get people riled up if you can,
Yeah.
I mean, I got in a fight with AC/DC.
Yeah.
What the fuck, Well, people they like to rile people up or get them riled up. I don't know.
And it never bothers you.
Well, it just seems I just can't sustain interest in something like that.
Yeah.
It just seems boring.
Yeah.
And also, I've always just did whatever I wanted to do.
Right.
And I'm not that interested in what
Other people think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, I am, but I'm not.
Right.
I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing.
Right.
Just because you have a different opinion. I will listen to you, though.
Yeah.
Not like, I don't know. Like we just released that video that we're going to watch.
Yes.
I think it's the one we're going to watch. I don't know which one we're going to watch.
We're
going to watch
Good segue.
So wait,
because we also
let's
released
do this-
another one
this-
yesterday, and in the video, we went to a gun range and we got all these stuffed animals, and then we filled them with pig guts and blood balloons, and then we went and got like M16s and handguns and every kind of gun we could get, even a flamethrower, and then we lined them all up and we shot them, and then we filmed it in slow motion. So part of the video that we released yesterday.
Wow! And did you do that? Did you fire the guns?
Yeah. But my sister was like, "Please don't put that out. Please,
Yeah.
that's just horrible. I can't watch that."
Right.
But it's like I don't know what you think the message of this, but in our culture, like when we grew up, you knock people out. Like
Right.
on TV, like these detectives, like on their show, would get knocked out every episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when we grew up thinking that it didn't mean anything to knock somebody out. Yeah, give me a hard time, knock them out.
Right.
They'll wake up in a little while and you'll be done doing what you got to do.
Right.
Get your fucking brain damage.
Right.
It's a serious thing to knock people out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, I think people just think shooting people's nothing.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
got to shoot him a couple times.
In America.
Yeah, he'll be better. He'll pull the bullet out. Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, there really is. They don't think.
No.
I don't think people understand what it is. But when you watch this video and you see those little stuffed animals, and because we did it in slow motion, you just see them being shredded by these bullets. So I think it I don't think she quite understood that it's like a very. It has a different message than it seems to be having. Or
Right.
the way she took
I
it.
think that's the difference between art and entertainment.
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people appreciate that. And I think that, you know, the general public doesn't watch video with the context of I'm going to see something artistic and learn something outside of my normal scope. They're looking at it like, does this entertain me? Which kind of makes me want to talk about ChatGPT. But we can let's do two things, which will be fun. Let's watch the video, and we should also figure out what the Ron trivia is, so we can give away the Grin bot.
Can I just say that Mumbot says that she's 99% sure her cousin and his ex-girlfriend bought the original Marilyn Mickey painting. So she was like 17 years old. So double check it, because that's really cool. Yeah.
And then who got it after the breakup as well?
That's a good question.
Yeah, where is it now?
And then
they can borrow my chainsaw if they want to resolve that issue.
And JME said you should paint a Mickey with Marilyn boobs. If you ever thought about that.
Nice. Now, when you get divorced, you're supposed to chainsaw the painting.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. Well,
So
this guy comes in, he goes, you know, how much is this painting? Oh, it's $20,000. It's like, what if I give you $5,000? I said, fine. And I cut the painting in quarters and gave him a quarter.
That's a good way to handle that discussion. All right, Alex, do you have...
All right.
Well, what's the context of this video that we're about to watch, Ron?
Oh, this is the one we released today. This is my character, Squirrel Squirt, played by Brandon Jameson. And in Delusionville, his urine is their beer. So we're just kind of introducing this character. I'm doing a lot of the secondary characters this year, and not releasing whole albums about them, but like singles. So yesterday was who was yesterday?
Squirrel Squirt Day.
No, today was Squirrel Squirt. Last week was Yellow, which is Punk Skunk, and I forget what it was yesterday. Yeah, we were shooting all the things. All right. Mouse Mess Murphy.
Okay.
Yeah, so he got his, and he's played by Jason Draven, who's like I don't know if you met him. He's like,
his name sounds familiar.
Yeah. In 3 years, he'll be bigger than Kurt Cobain. So
really,
yeah.
All right, let's watch the video.
Yeah, he is super dumb. No sound.
Can't hear it, Alex. No, I think it's because you're muted.
All right, we're having technical difficulties. Hold on.
Let's try it again. Can you hear it now?
Nope.
Can you hear it?
We can't hear that here.
No, it's not playing.
No, it's not. There's no sound. We can just hear it from the back room a bit, maybe. I don't know.
Right. All right. Yeah, this is the first time trying to screen share with this. So,
all right, everybody, hold on. Everybody, hold on the internet. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. We're gonna fix this. I'm pushing boundaries here. You only texted me this like 12 times to make sure that we would have it ready. There you go. There you go. We're not gonna let you down.
Okay.
So have you thought? So maybe in this moment, what can you think about some piece of trivia that you think is out there about you that only like diehard fans would know?
Oh,
like someone who's been following your career for a while. What's a piece of?
Take yourself off screen.
What was my first billboard?
Oh, there you go. Okay, so if anyone out there on the internets or the webs can tell us who or what was pictured on Ron's first billboard, you will win yourself this beautiful Ron Grimbot. And you can write it in the chat, or you can email info@clutter.toys, and the first person to send in the email or write it in the chat will win this delightful piece. Wow, the show's totally broken down.
How are we doing? Because I've got a random one if we've got time.
Let's do it.
Yeah?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Right, Ron, there was a movie a while back, Exit Through the Gift Shop, the Banksy movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a little snippet of you in it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got any funny stories about that Mr. Brainwash dude?
Well, he was interesting. He followed everybody. I know he followed Swoon around and Shepard around, and he followed me around quite a lot. And I don't know, he was a weird dude. And I said, well, you can follow me for a day, and then he followed me for a couple of days. And then actually I said, well, if you're going to keep following me, it's like, can you babysit my kids? Because I think my wife left her. So finally I brought him back to my house after a couple of days, and we made him dinner, and I took him out in the backyard, and I took the camera away from him, and I pointed it at him, because it sort of hit me that it's like, fuck, you want to be famous. Like, why are you around, like, for no reason? Or just filming, because most of the time he had the camera pointed the wrong way. And I realized, oh, fuck, he wants to be famous. And so, like, hand me the camera, well, let's make a movie about you. So he was a weird dude, yeah. But it's interesting. Sometimes I just want to know, like, what the fuck do you want? Because, hell, I might be able to help you with that, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, but for 2 hours, he told his life story on the film.
Yeah, no, that was crazy. Yeah, that's funny. Funny little movie, that. I like it. It's good.
It was a brilliant movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they I don't think that was their original intention. I think they wanted to make a movie about street art, and they I think what happened was I first met him, he was following Shepard around, and and Invader was his cousin. So like me and Invader and Shepard, we were running around doing street art or whatever, and then Terry was just filming everything, and so he filmed him for a few years, Shepard. But I said, what's going on with this? And he goes, oh, we have this agreement. We're going to make a movie at the end of this and split it 50-50 or whatever. And when Shepard felt like, okay, we got enough stuff, let's make the movie, he called up Brainwash and said, okay, I got a really great editor. We're going to make a great movie. Bring all the footage over. And Terry said, fuck off. I'm keeping the footage. And then he realized he had a bit of a problem, not only that this guy just stole his movie and he wasn't who he thought he was. He'd also hooked him up with he hooked him up with me, Swoon, and Banksy, who can't be seen. And Terry had a lot of footage of Banksy, like where you can actually see him. So Chipper calls up Banksy and says, I'm sorry, dude, I don't know what to say. He's not who we thought he was. He's got footage of you, and I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. I'm sorry this happened. And Banksy said, fuck it, I know what to do. And so he called up Terry, and I think he'd kind of deciphered the same thing that I did, that Terry wanted to be famous. And he said, look, man, we're going to make a movie about you, and put all the tapes in a suitcase and fly over to London. And I'm going to send you a first class ticket, and we're going to make the movie about you. And that's what he wanted to hear. And he put all those tapes that he wouldn't give Shepard, and he gave them all he took them over to London and gave them to Banksy. And then Banksy got a couple of editors, and they're thinking, well, I think maybe he should be the center of the movie, because he could be this kind of like Charlie Chaplin hapless character who, the story would be he's this poor little shopkeeper. Never mind that his family's worth $1 billion. Let's just not mention that part. I
heard a related story to that when they're doing all that street art in the movie, his family owns all those buildings.
They own those buildings.
There was never any danger.
No. But that's how we originally. That was all actually. That's how we originally knew him. Shepard hooked everybody up with him because. You want to come to LA and hit a bunch of walls. This guy owns 15 buildings on Melrose.
Yeah, correct.
And some other amazing spots. And he's a sweet guy. He'll let you hit up the building, and you don't have to worry about getting arrested. So that's how we all kind of came into his orbit.
So you all knew that he wasn't the hapless character.
Yeah. Well, but when he was kind of kooky, but and I think I figured out that he wanted to be famous, but he didn't really have a way to get to fame. Because he put himself around fame. I think first he kind of stalked real fame. Okay, like when he was 17, they bought him a bunch of buildings in LA because his financial advisor says, what do you want to do? And he goes, I really want to go to LA, and probably to get famous, I guess. And so they said it's really hard to immigrate, but if you owned a bunch of property, so that's why they bought him all those properties. So I mean, that's a pretty wealthy family.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they started going through all of his footage that he never labeled, and there's hundreds and hundreds of tapes, and they started figuring out, fuck, half the time he had the camera pointed the wrong direction. Like, he was pretty fucking hapless about that. He just used the cameras as an excuse to be in all these situations.
Right. Yeah.
They actually had to go back and almost reshoot the whole movie, but they did decide that this is a story we'll tell. It's this cute little guy, nobody shopkeeper, Charlie Chaplin type, is in LA, and he starts chasing celebrities, but they're all kind of dicks to him, And then he finds this other kind of subculture, street art, And it seems like they're all kind of nice. They're not really famous or anything, or mildly famous, but not like Oasis or something. And so he decides he's going to hang out with those guys. And then they all kind of take a poop on him too, you know. But, you know, they had to go through 200 hours of footage to find Swoon being even the slightest agitated towards him, you know. And I think they had to go through a lot of footage to find me kind of being like, you know, because he couldn't understand I painted, because he goes,
yeah, because you come across a little standoffish, don't you? It's like, it's a painting.
I was
like,
getting irritated with his questions. And
guy's
it's
an idiot.
a fucking painting. It's like, well, the art, you use stencils. It's like, I don't use stencils. I can really paint.
Yeah.
But I, you know, so the idea was they would find each one of us irritated with them. So it's kind of like, the street artists, they're just as big a dicks as the fucking celebrities. And it's supposed to end with him having a show of his own and going off on his own journey, and not, you know, trying to tag along with other people or attach himself to other people. So it's a very human story. And but the problem is that he wouldn't have the fucking show. And then they're thinking, well, have the fucking show so we can end this movie. And they were just thinking he's gonna have a show at a cafe or something. And finally Banksy like sends some of his guys out and like, well, I can help you make the show. That's what it takes, man. And when they get out there, they realize, oh fuck. I mean, he's got the old Lucille Ball Studios, and he's got 100 guys working for him, and he's got fucking legends like Saber being his warm-up act, you know. And this guy totally knew what he was doing. But yeah, they still made the movie. It just ended up being a bigger, grander ending. But I mean, their ability to tell a story and make a movie was brilliant. Yeah.
All right, can we do a new trial?
Yeah.
Think we have it.
That's good. No, thanks for that. Really interesting movie. I love it, and that's great.
I feel like that movie changed a lot for
It's
people.
fucking great. I can just watch it over and over. It's just something about it.
I don't think I've watched it since I watched it the first time, and maybe I should go back.
Well, maybe the overlying story is fake, but it was the point in time, and these were things that really happened, and it was a culture that was just starting to grow up, and can't go back and redo it.
All right, we're gonna do this test.
All right, this should work now. So let's see.
Squirts and piss.
Please tell us if you can hear it, like thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Proud to be a cloud with a silver lining. Proud to be a cloud with its rain on the ground. I'm as loud as a child, forever whining, as deep as a pool. Reason to drown. I'm a drunken king. Way down by his crown. I'm a drunken king. Gather round, I'm bound to astound. Gather round, I'm bound to astound. Never eat a thing you can't think of as food. Never drink a thing you can't see as pee. Squirrel squirt beer puts the cock in your brew. Squirrel squirt beer puts the knock in your knees. I'm a drunken king. Way down by his crown, I'm a drunken king. My golden pea is brewed to astound. My golden pea is brewed to astound. My name is Squirt. I have a queer career. I drink from your toilet and I squirt out your beer. My name is Squirt. I have a queer career. I drink from your toilet and I squirt out your beer. Drink from your toilet and I squirt out your beer. I'm drunken king. Weighed down by his crown, I'm a drunken king. My golden key is brewed to astound, I'm a drunken king. Weighed down by his crown, I'm a drunken king. My golden key is brewed to astound. My golden key is brewed to astound.
Get rid of.
The image of the squirrel running with all the piss around it is really disturbing. So how many paintings did you make for that?
I don't know. We worked too hard on this shit. But...
You were but how many paintings?
Hey, can we play another one?
Yeah, but wait, we should do it differently. But how many paintings did you actually?
Figure it out.
A lot. Yeah.
How many?
I don't know. I did a lot of stuff.
No, tell us the truth. How many paintings of squirrels pissing did you paint for that?
Let's talk about something else.
Did you get tired?
I have no life.
Did you get tired of painting squirrels pissing for that?
No, I never get tired of squirrels pissing.
And what about the image? Did you paint that?
Okay, I remember.
I'm asking you. This is real.
I'm telling you a real thing. When I read this article of this woman who painted horses, right?
Yeah.
You know, but photorealistics, they had to paint all the hair and stuff, and they just asked her, it's like, do you ever get tired of painting horses? And she said, what every painter knows. It's like, I don't know what the fuck I mean. It's like, it's just, especially if you do photorealism, you just it's abstract. You know, when you pull away, oh, it's a horse, but yeah, it's all, everything's the same. Everything's equivalent when you paint it. You know. Right.
I remember coming over to your house maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and you were painting all these perfect Bob Ross effect landscape paintings. You were just developing the rabbits.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
first, they were in a little bit of a Bob Ross type situation. Right?
Well, you were literally doing these massive effect paintings.
Oh, but yeah, those you can actually do pretty quick.
That was pretty remarkable. I remember walking in and being like, "Holy shit, you can do that!" And you're like, "Yeah, it's just a trick."
Oh, yeah, because one of my many jobs was working at a schlock art factory where you were expected to make 3 paintings a day.
So you were making landscape paintings for...
Yeah. You landscape painting. It was a place on, I think, 34th Street, and we all were in the basement, and we made the paintings, and they took them. We signed fake names to them. So, because like once you're gone, then the next person will sign the same name to it. And then they would sell them, but it was a higher end version of it. So I think they were like $3,000 or $4,000 upstairs, and then we got like minimum wage to paint them. As a matter of fact, you weren't even allowed to talk to the person next to you. We sat in little stations. They put a coffee maker between us because you could drink all the coffee you wanted. It's kind of made you paint faster, but you weren't allowed to say even good morning to the person next to you. It was brutal, yeah. And you had to fucking crank the paintings. Yeah.
And where were they giving you photographs of landscape to paint?
No, they would bring down the same painting.
They
would set it. They had like a master painting, and they would set it there, and you would just
copy that painting.
Yeah, at some point you did the same painting many times.
It didn't matter, right?
Yeah, so I did like the weird Bob. They called them. They weren't Bob Ross because there wasn't Bob Ross yet.
Right.
Basically, he actually did that same gig as me, and then he figured out, well, there's this one cottage style, the Magic Cottage or whatever, and he made that his. And now when we see that, we think that's a Bob Ross. But back then, it wasn't called Bob Ross. It was just a schlock painting.
You mean the Magic Cottage is like the style painting where there's a cottage?
Yeah, but he owned that. He did that like the same thing I did at a paint factory, and then he decided that's going to be my style, and he took it off, and then now it's associated completely with him
because he made it famous as a.
He put his own name on it.
But yeah. it's pretty remarkable because
I mean, anybody could have said that's my style because it wasn't anybody's. It was just a fake style, you know.
right, it's like you're using the brushes to the effect that the brushes execute.
Yeah.
Right. That's always been my interpretation.
Yeah, and always,
and especially when you said that to me, I was like,
well, they do it in
oh,
China too, and they do the same painting hundreds of times.
Right, and then they come to Bed Bath and Beyond and sell them.
Yeah, I think they used to stack them like 6 foot tall and put them in these crates and ship them and sell them for $20 a piece, or whatever they sold them here for. I can't remember.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was. But they were churning them. You know, we were churning them.
Yeah.
Ours were a little more high end because it was for people doing hotels and decorators and stuff.
Right.
It was also interesting because it was the third generation of this company, and meanwhile there was only 2 English speakers. Everybody else was from Poland. So I guess we couldn't have talked to them if we wanted to, but no, they spoke English. But it was kind of weird because the grandson, that's when I first learned about the kind of thing that happens. Like a guy develops a business, he passes it on to his son makes it bigger, and then they hand it off to the grandson, he fucks it up. Because I remember the grandson would show up in a Maserati. And it's like, but the dad would show up in like a beat up Pinto. And see, he was smart. He had a fucking Mercedes out in Long Island.
Right,
but it's like, fucking bitch, if you're paying people minimum wage, act like, I'm just trying to keep this shit together, and you can see my car is duct taped together, but the kid's too stupid, or the grandkid's too stupid to
right,
yeah,
right, to run the scam.
Yeah, and then he's the one that ended up getting a mutiny because people are like, fuck this shit, you're getting rich as fuck off this shit.
Yeah,
and so they kind of ended it. But yeah, like don't show up in a fucking $200,000 car and you're paying people minimum wage.
That job is fascinating. The other one that I always love asking about is Kastabi, because I experienced it when I was at art school. I went in, and I put the coin in. I went to Kastabi World, and I put the coin in the slot.
Oh yeah, that was way after I was gone.
That was after you were gone, and that was at I think 596 Broadway. Yeah. Were you at that studio?
No, I never showed up there.
No. Which
first we did you work at? First we worked in his apartment, and actually when I was working at Slot Thing, and I already tried to get a job there, and he was just doing the I don't paint them, thing, whatever, and it kind of backfired at first. Because he was charging like $10,000 a piece for him, and then everybody goes, "Yeah, I'm not going to pay $10,000 for a painting you didn't even paint." And so then he kind of was stopping it for a minute, and then it kind of people got over that idea, and it started working. And so then I got hired. So I think I was like the 4th person there. So at that point, we were just working in his apartment.
And was he selling Kastabi? Was he selling them en masse at that point? Or was he selling them?
Well, we can make them really fast. I can make one in 3 hours.
Because what was the movie that they did about? Was it a movie about Kastabi, or was it a movie about another painter who's like this unsung hero?
I remember that. Yeah,
remember that?
No, I didn't see it. Not if he worked for Kastabi, I didn't see it.
Okay, but they talked about how Kastabi would sell like 55 paintings, like at a clip. Like that's how they were.
I've seen him make $1 million a day, multiple days in a row.
Selling.
Because we would fill up trucks full of paintings.
Yeah,
they come in. They order 110 paintings.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You would talk about putting the slot in, like putting money in the slot in the wall.
Well, it was like
that was
when we were in art
That was
school.
years
You
later.
would go to Kastabi World, and there was a wall that had a slit in it. You'd put a quarter in, and so you'd make money.
It's what they used to do as the strip clubs. Like you would put
Yeah,
it.
it was like
a peep show.
Masturbating.
Peep show.
Right.
People painting.
Yeah. So the wall would open, and all the painters would stop and turn around and look at you and be like, "What?"
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, "Hey," and then they'd be like, and like the
and
the wall would close. And they'd go back to painting. Like,
yeah, it seemed like it was getting more and more exploitive. And he's somebody who I don't think he ever had a job. And well, it was interesting for us because that he started getting really, really big, really fast, and he took over this huge factory over in Chelsea, like a huge building, and he put pool tables down on the bottom floor, and I think maybe at one point he had 100 painters, 70, 100, something crazy. But I remember there was no manager. No, because he's never had a job, so he doesn't know what it's like to work with somebody. Because I remember once he just left for 2 months, he had to do like a European tour. He left nobody in charge.
What happened?
I think everybody became the person they really were.
Right.
I just came, painted, left. Had nothing to, my career was already starting to take off, and I was just kind of supplementing by coming in.
Right.
And first they put in the time clock, and everybody freaked the fuck out.
Oh.
And I'm like, dudes, this is the best thing that ever happened, you dumbasses.
Right.
It's like we fucking punch the clock, It's like,
you're paying for your
okay,
time.
well, my roommate knew exactly what to do. She came in on Mondays, punched in, and went home. Came back on Fridays, punched out.
Right.
Never fucking made a painting.
Right.
She just came in on Mondays and punched in, and then came on Fridays. And then everybody else, like we were throwing these giant parties in there and shit, because now we have access to this gigantic building. And
for 2 months.
yeah, he had no idea the people. He just thought they'd just keep working.
Yeah,
and a couple of us did keep working, but mostly people ain't gonna keep working.
No.
But also because it was weird, you could do his style so fast, and I don't think he knew how long it took or didn't take to do it. But I mean, I remember my friend Mark took another Mark that worked there. Took a whole month to make this painting, and then Mark came in and said, "Oh, the client wants it in different colors," and he said, "Could you change it to different colors?" And he goes, "Fuck you, Mark." And I ain't gonna do that. Spent a month on it, and I shouldn't have done this, but I'm like, "Give me another canvas the same size," and I did it in 3 hours. So it probably made my other friend look bad. It took him a month to do it.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just sand blends, bitches, But I don't know. He ended up. I think he got too much fame too fast. It was weird because almost every day there was like a major news outlet there, and I was having fun because before I was working for Marsha Gilligan King, and she was sedate and calm and the heiress and stuff, and I thought it'd be more fun to work there because the press is always there, and I did learn how to be in the press and how to speak in sound bites because like we would all kind of compete. Like here's the press, who's going to be the exploited worker or whatever. So like everybody else, just go on and on, run on sentences, and then I would go, yeah, it takes me 3 hours to make one of these paintings. It would take me 3 years of working here to buy it back. And then stop talking, and then they'll use it because you just gave them exactly what they wanted.
Right.
You just want a clip, and you can't just run on sentences. But I learned really quick that's how you be in the press. You just give them exactly what they want.
Yeah.
Well, I know, and then I'm like, dude, maybe you should have somebody else have the ideas for you, And then that was his second wave of publicity. Is then when he got like an idea person,
Can we scroll back and read I want to read the guesses for the trivia.
What was the question?
The question was, what was Ron's very first billboard?
Oh, okay. Let's go back. MC Supersize. Okay, hang on.
Yeah,
okay,
it's here.
Camel cigarettes.
No. That wasn't the first one. The first one was Home of Homeless.
Oh, Home of Homeless.
No, Ron's shaking his head.
No. Okay. Camel cigarettes.
No.
No.
Jesus.
No.
MC Supersize.
No.
Someone else said Camel Marlboro Man.
No.
Support your CEO.
I don't think anybody got it right.
No.
Don't say
it. No,
okay.
Don't say it.
Forever Cool. Is that the same question?
No. That was 15 years into it. Yeah.
Think different.
No, that's like about 12 years into the thing.
Okay. Let's see if we
I think I'm really young and I'm not that political yet.
It's a painting?
Yeah, it's two billboards.
It's not. All right, keep guessing, people.
It's when it first occurred to me that I could get on any billboard in Dallas if I had a 15-foot ladder.
Keep guessing.
All right, keep guessing, everybody.
Anyway.
All right.
So anyone can guess what I'm drinking will win something special from me.
Yeah,
you have to guess on YouTube.
A cool set of cards.
On Instagram. You have to guess on YouTube.
Win a set of cards if you can guess
with beautiful
what
poems
is this,
on the back.
What is this beverage that I'm drinking?
What are you giving away for that?
Cards.
Oh, okay.
Cards.
Yeah, I made 100 of these alien cards, Area 54, and then on the back I did a little poem on each one, so I had to write 110 poems.
Wow.
I love like getting overwhelmed by something and just thinking you can't do this.
How much
110
is a squirrel piss painting?
Huh?
How much are you selling the squirrel piss paintings for?
They're only for me. Now I had to give them all to my brother-in-law to sing the song.
Oh, really? He has the whole collection of all the.
Yeah.
How big were those paintings?
Huge.
They're
huge.
They're huge.
If you're for a squirrel, they're big.
Squirrel, exactly. But you can't guess on Instagram.
I want to do a big schoolhouse as part of Delusionville. So when you go in, there'll be all these paintings inside there. It'll be like you'll have those cool toilets and you'll have his paintings and.
So cool.
We're building an amusement park, man.
That's good.
Where's it going?
Yeah, I don't know. Like we need backer, so anybody have money.
If anybody wants to build it,
we're
ready. All right, Unbreathable.
Not Don.
Unbreathed.
No, he's a mogul. He owns a mountain.
I know. He showed me the mountain the other day.
He's not going to give you any money.
Should we try playing another video? I don't know how successful we're going to be, but we can
You
try.
can play it literally from a phone onto the screen.
No, it
Okay.
doesn't work like
Are we
that.
gonna try another video?
We're going to
Yeah,
try.
Let's do the one
try.
that we were talking about where we're wasting the stuffed
This one?
animals. Yeah.
Is this this one?
Look at that.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's
All
and this
right.
is
Whoa.
this is
taking
Jason,
over this time.
This
Yeah.
is Jason Draven. I met him. I think he was
Is this taking over the whole feed?
still a teenager when I met him.
Yeah, but can you still hear us out there?
Can still hear us. So fine.
Yeah, we still
Just me.
It's not iced coffee.
All right, let's see if the sound works. I can't guarantee the sound's going to work. How do,
Yeah.
Oh, I need to press play on this.
Pour the air in your lungs when you know that the air is for everyone. Pouring the air in your lungs, one for all and all for none. Return again to where you come. Everything's different but still the same. There's no way forward or to turn back. All I can do is just unbreathe. Unbreathe the air that's inside of you. Unbreathe the air. Unbreathe the air that's inside of you. Unbreathe. Unbreathe the air that's inside of you. Unbreathe the air. Unbreathe the air that's inside of you.
That's so
Days
funny.
last longer than the time it spans. Knew you got and had a plan. Time erodes the souls of the damned. And I don't even know who I am. Dealt the wrong hand in the game of life. Guess my God wasn't on my side. Pain in my chest, I'm in distress. So I unbreathe. Unbreathe the air that's inside of you. Unbreathe the air. Unbreathe the air that's inside of you. Unbreathe. Unbreathe the air that's inside of you. Unbreathe the air. Unbreathe the air that's inside of you. Send your tears back to the clouds. Return your lonely back to the crowds. When the silence gets too loud. When the humble gets too proud. When the air makes you feel like you'll drown. Now there's no more left to be found. Don't let your neck break beneath the ground. Now we can all unbreathe. Unbreathe the air that's inside of you. Unbreathe the air. Unbreathe the air that's inside of you. Unbreathe. Unbreathe the air that's inside of you. Unbreathe the air. Unbreathe the air that's inside of you. Unbreathe. Unbreathe the air that's inside of you. Unbreathe the air. Unbreathe the air that's inside of you. Unbreathe. Unbreathe the air that's inside of you. Unbreathe the air. Unbreathe the air that's inside of you. Unbreathe. So you can take my breath away. The air is here to stay. So you can take my breath away. Now the air is here to stay.
Nice. Wow.
Awesome.
Wow.
I'm glad I figured
Unbreathe,
this out,
rabbits, maybe.
everybody. So did you write that? Like, how much of the writing process is you, and how much of it is the other people
write
that you
all
work
of
with?
No, we write together.
You
Me
write
and Jason
together.
sat down and wrote it together.
You write a lot. Don't you write a lot of the songs yourself?
Yeah, it's on. Yeah,
Yeah.
But I try to have a partner if I can. Yeah, I'd say 90% with 80% with Joe Johnston, and
Yeah.
then Sam Smith, Lee Falco. Different people. Yeah.
What do you think about ChatGPT?
What's that?
AI.
Oh, AI.
AI art. Because you don't need all those other people to write with you now. You could just write with
it's
ChatGPT.
not there
You
yet.
could fire all those
but
people.
okay, here's what they're my best friends.
I'm just joking.
And we don't make any money anyway. So
I love Joe.
no,
I don't know if I know Jason.
like a thing that I have wanted, not always, because there's no such thing as always. I've not always wanted to do anything, but ever since that I did that Jesus show and read the Bible and read the Gnostic Gospels and the Antiquities of the Jews and all that stuff. I became obsessed with all that writing, and especially the original text, because Jesus he was not a virgin birth until 200 years into the religion, and they realized that because he was cool because he was of the lineage of David, right?
Yeah.
Through Joseph. But the Romans are going, when they're trying to sell it to the Romans, they're kind of like, well, that didn't make any sense. Our guys are half gods, and it's like, oh well, she was a virgin. They changed it. They know who changed it. So I would like to go back and get the original text, and then have it put it through a translation program. And you can't do this today, but within a year you'll be able to do this. Take all my writing for 40 years, because I always write the same way, where I 15 minutes after my arrest, in the middle of the questions, I tried to protest. Or I tell the joke of I have a cadence in the way that I write.
Yeah.
And so they can take all my writing and they can rewrite the entire Bible. But this is my new translated version, so it's not the King James version. It's from the original text, and now I have the English translations of the Bible, and so I can release that as a book. And I'll spend like a year and go through it and just make sure I can
train it
to write in your style,
to write in my style, and then have it translate all these original texts where Jesus didn't walk on the water, because originally in the original text he didn't walk on the water. They're coming back from fishing. It's foggy. They see him standing there. He is so beautiful in his white robe. It appeared as if he was standing on the water. Then later, let's just fucking make him walk on the water. What the fuck? But I mean, you could go to all that perfect stuff, because that's kind of what King James did, except he used people like, maybe Shakespeare. He got all these great writers to come redo it so I'm not the bad guy or whatever, so I can be a sinner. So basically it'll be that same process, but I can do it. I don't have access to 200 amazing writers that'll work for me, or because I'll chop their heads off if they won't. But
AI
but
will do it.
But AI will. That's something that's going to enable, and you can't really do a lot of movement or anything. But all the stuff it's happening very fast, and I can take all these Rabbits tunes and say remix them EDM. I can put in all the stems and have the whole thing remixed in 2 hours.
So you're not worried about AI?
Why would I worry?
Destroying culture?
Just taking away.
Wait, how is it destroying culture?
It's going to limit what people think about and what people create.
Blurs the line between reality.
Because there'll be a database of what gets created. Because the average person won't actually learn to create. They'll just use what's in the database.
Yeah. Well, I think that they'll
just make them more.
They'll say some words. It'll comb through the system and take every sci-fi artist and every Rembrandt, and it'll mesh it together in something that'll look really cool, and they will probably actually think they made that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's disturbing.
Yeah. Well, let's do a couple more guesses
So
before we move on.
all right, there you go.
Before we continue with
I know what
because we should talk about NFTs.
I know what the.
Can I say one more thing about AI?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like one of my old friends when I was a kid, they put him in prison for a while, and they let him do decoupage. So he would take images and decoupage them to a piece of wood.
Yeah.
And that was his art.
Right.
And he was so fucking proud of that. It's a fucking same thing. I'm going to take somebody else's image and paste it to a piece of wood and hang it on my wallpaper because that's beautiful. Well, it's kind of beautiful because you stole somebody else's fucking image and you pasted it to a piece of wood. But he felt so good about that, So you want to take that away from him?
Take that, decoupage artist.
Because you know what he was doing before? He was shooting people.
So
92 says love, lust.
No, but hang on. Was it you and Tarsa?
He just got it. She just got it. Somebody
This
just got
one? It was you and
love
Tarsa.
and lust. Yes,
No, it's fifth. No, because Mumbach called it.
Yeah, but I was going.
Okay,
you want an order? I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
Fine. This UK. Cynthia. Sith and
92. Send us an email to info@clutter.toys.
Because you won.
Yep, that was it. It was. I used a billboard to try to get Tarsa's attention.
So
And
the
it
other
worked.
people a few people guessed, like, was it you and Tarsa? Was it you asking and Tarsa? But you had to guess.
I made it for
Love
Tarsa.
Lust.
Yes, yeah, and it was called Love and Lust because in my little kid reptile brain, I had only experienced lust up to then, and it was the first time I ever experienced love. because you oh, she's cute, but it was the first time I ever felt something beyond just thinking, wow, you're cute. It's the first time I felt something really deep for somebody.
Yeah.
And it was just my kiddish way of trying to express it. Yeah.
So
I put it on a billboard and I drove over to the billboard and go, look at that.
And it worked.
I'm not that articulate, but I can talk with billboards.
Was she swept off her feet?
No. She's very practical. She's like, you made me late to work to look at that. I don't know what the fuck. Yeah. But then that also made me like her more because, I have to have somebody practical. If I'm going to be crazy, somebody has to be practical. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Like Dawn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to our friend Dawn?
Yeah.
This wife's totally got it together.
Yeah.
I mean, he can only exist because of her. He had to be with her.
I haven't met his
You
wife.
have to have a perfect match
Yes.
that can balance you out.
I haven't met his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's amazing. Yeah.
Okay.
No, he did the right thing. He went all the way back to Colorado to get with her. Yeah. But it's all, as you know.
Yeah, I do know.
You would not be on this podcast if she did not.
That is correct. That is correct.
You're just
That's
the eye
true.
candy.
And so, what kind of coffee?
Oh, yeah, this is not just iced coffee, by the way. So here's a question from Mumbot. Does Ron have any favorite figures that have come from his art? Lady Lips, Grin figures, serial killers. Which is your favorite toy / figure that's come? I mean, you have so many.
It's actually I did the 3 monkeys see no evil, except
Yeah.
it's hear more evil, see more evil, speak more evil, and then the speak more is a Grin, and that comes out in a month and a half, I think.
That's your favorite? That
Yeah.
hasn't come out yet.
But I have the prototype, so I live with it.
yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Okay, so his favorite hasn't even come out yet.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's the
We have to
answer.
line up
And we
get
can't
that.
we can't even see it.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
That's all right. We'll forgive you. Any plans for collabs with other artists?
I'm always open. I'm making paintings right now with Travie McCoy of
Gym
Wanna
Class
Be a
Hero
Billionaire,
fame?
so
Yeah.
fucking
And many
bad.
other songs.
And we worked on some music together. And
That's awesome.
yeah, so I'm always open to collaborating with people. I find it very invigorating.
Shout out Travis.
It's you get to
How are
tap
you?
other people's talent.
Yeah.
Like even with my brother-in-law, like it's almost like we're running a relay race or something. Because it's like I'll get so far and then I'll realize I am completely lost. And by then he's already taken over and he doesn't realize I got lost. He's excited and it's amazing. I love doing that stuff. I mean, and music is collaborative.
Oh yeah.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
Art a lot of time, most of the time you're by yourself. But so I think that's why I went into music also is to collaborate with other people. You know?
It seems that music and art has always been intertwined. In your
Yeah,
life,
and can I say something about the last week's guest?
Yeah.
That's always kind of frustrated me because he's like an insane Daniel fan.
Yeah.
But he has equal talent, if not more, than Daniel, and that's always frustrated me because we made another record called Songs in English that's fucking good.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's just he's so obsessed with Daniel that it's like I think
He's
he
put
doesn't.
himself in the back.
I think he doesn't get how talented he is.
Huh.
Are you listening, Don?
He's not listening. He just watch your show.
You might be watching this one.
No, he's not watching. Believe me, he's not watching.
Don, Ron says you're not watching.
Text us if you are.
Yeah, Don, text us.
Well, speaking of collabs, I mean, it's great to get the Grin on the cam box. You know what I mean?
Oh, this is so sweet. I mean, I just love these things. They're so perfect and it shakes. Like that just puts it over the top,
CZ
right?
sculpted that.
I know.
Yeah, it's sculpted the Grin.
I remember when you guys were starting this project.
Yeah, in the pandemic at our dining room table.
Yeah,
right?
this is your Funko moment when you got the
This
perfect,
is
perfect
CZ's
platform.
CZ moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's genius.
It's having the right collaborators, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I just saw somebody online going, I just got mine. I love it to death. Why is the head on backwards? So
you can turn them. Yes.
Oh, yeah. You can turn it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not afraid. I don't want to break it. I'm thinking,
Yeah,
Oh, it does turn. Okay.
It does. The head turns. And somebody said
Well,
that
I should have just jumped in the comments and said, it turns.
that the tip was on backwards, but these also turn. You have to crack them.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
the paint can get in between the seam.
Oh, okay.
So
but
when
I
you
could
first,
see being afraid you could.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. But when you first take one out of the box, you have to crack it. It's a nice crack.
And then
fun.
also the proper way, they come in the box like this.
Yes.
And the proper way to display your Cambots is like this.
So he's a little cuter.
Yeah, that's.
He's got to be.
Yeah, that was always my vision. Always the vision. Do you know what I mean? I find them weird when I see them straight on.
But see, I'm a rebel.
Oh,
I do things my way.
Yeah.
From the side.
We could have them packaged at
From
the
the back.
end, really.
We could.
We could. We could.
Whiskey iced coffee. That's a good guess. That's a good guess. Do we have a toy tank tonight?
We do.
Have a toy tank. Should we have a toy tank come back to this?
We should do our toy tank. So what we do is we bring on an up and coming artist or an artist with a new figure.
Grab that blue dude from
Don't touch
behind
me.
you. Yeah, that's that
Don't
one.
touch me,
We're gonna use that as a demonstration
Okay.
model.
So this is who we have on tonight?
Yes. This
Awesome.
is who we have.
Oh, yeah. I love this so much.
All right.
Right. You guys ready for some toy tank?
Take
All
over.
right, great. Yeah, so it's a toy tank segment. So I'm gonna need everybody to sing along with me. We got a very special guest today. His name is Zema. So if you know the words, sing with me. It's the toy tank. Go to the toy tank. Show me your
fucking toys.
All right, yo, let's get some fucking Zema on the air. Dude, this guy's work is so fucking weird. I love it so much. Big hands, fucking crazy shit going on. Like, the stuff that he has for this next Glow show is fucking mind-blowing. So, without further ado, we got Zema. Welcome.
Hey.
How are you?
Thank you.
There's
Hi.
some more
There's more,
around
right?
too. Yeah.
Oh my god, you got so many toys, dude. Welcome.
How are you?
This is your laboratory, right? You're showing us.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Oh, welcome.
Awesome.
Where are you in the world?
I'm in upstate New York in Binghamton.
You're in the actual.
Binghamton, New York.
Yes.
Yeah, we're the fake upstate New York. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah, I have an arcade here. I'm in back of the arcade.
Oh wow, cool. And that's
Nice.
where you make your work.
This is where I do stuff. Yes.
Is that what you do as well? Run is that loud? Like run an arcade?
Look, you found
Yeah. If you look up
Dude.
Robot City Games, you could see it online.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice. What, like retro?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, we have 115 or so games.
Wow. We're definitely
Wow.
coming up to
Do
visit
people
there.
come
Oh,
there
no,
to
hold
play
on.
games, or do they drink there too?
No,
Just playing
it's a
games.
family kind of.
It's a family place. Okay.
Yeah.
But we could maybe shut
Yeah,
it
there's
down.
a video game store in the front and an arcade in the back.
That's
And then in the
awesome.
back, I'm back here fooling around.
So
great.
let's talk about your stuff real quick because
Oh,
I learned of you from 5 Points because you were an Artist Alley vendor, and I never get time to look around generally. But Josh is always like doing things, talking to people, and so you bought me some pieces because you always buy me things that I can't go get to see. So that's how.
Of everything in
That's how you
Artist
stay
Alley-
married, right?
Of
Yeah.
everything in Artist Alley, I was
Yeah.
just astounded by your work, and I had to buy some.
Thank you.
So here are the two that.
Yeah. oh, so
Nice.
good. Where do you come up with this? Like, the things that you've sent us for past shows just blow my mind. Like, it's
Yeah, what's the
almost like
process?
a fever dream in like in toy version, and like I love it.
Yeah, I in the evenings I watch bad westerns and just sculpt on my iPad like pretty much every night.
Nice.
Do you like a Bonanza or Gunsmoke or?
Whatever. I don't really pay attention to it. It's just the ambient like yeah.
This is one that I've seen a few times, like themes through your work is the like gorillas with little gorilla faces as the hands.
Yeah.
Where did that idea come from?
That's actually
A lot of acid?
let me grab
They always ask me.
I love this
You take
studio.
a lot of LSD. That's what we want to know. Is there
Oh, this is
so the gorilla thing is it's a blow mold bank from the 60s.
Love it.
awesome.
That's he's my ape thing. I'm influenced by a lot of like 60s like dime store toys and chalkware, carnival chalk, that kind of stuff.
Wow. Wow. And these new toys that you've given us for the Glow show, I'm going to do a little sneak preview. I did one of the gorilla, but you gave us a new toy, which is absolutely blowing my mind. This one with the shake right here, which has liquid inside of it. Like, tell us a little bit about that. Where did you conceive this?
So Instagram kept showing me these videos of liquid core dice, like people making dice with liquid in them.
Mm-hmm.
So I just looked up how to do that. You pretty much people take like little glass globes and fill them with liquid and cast them in resin. So these are so I did the same thing but with light bulbs. So I ground the bottoms of light bulbs off.
Wow.
Ah.
So cool.
So it's
And
glass
so I
inside
cast
the
them
resin.
inside the mold.
So it's glass inside the mold.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you inject it?
Yeah, I take a light bulb and go up to like a metal grinder and grind the bottom until there's a hole in it.
Yes.
And then I jam stuff in and break the glass on the inside. And inject different liquids, mostly water and glycerin.
Cool.
That's good to know.
That
That's good to know.
sounds
We have to
fucking
ship
great.
You're
That's
a fucking mad
wild.
scientist.
Yeah.
Are you going to start making lava lamps?
You know,
Right?
I was looking at lava lamps.
Just last night,
And
right?
so I was
With
going
you,
to make
we were
a
both
resin
researching how to make
cast
lava lamps.
with a lava lamp inside of it. But I guess with shipping lava lamps, there's an issue with the wax sticking to the glass, and once it does that, it's ruined.
Yes.
And so, like, reading Amazon reviews, it's a thing that happens a lot, and you have to keep sending it back until you get one that doesn't do that. So I'm just worried about putting a lot of time into it and
But
having it ruined in shipping.
you have to put the spring in the bottom.
Yeah, the springs get stuck. It smokes up the glass, I guess. I don't know.
I was doing
I
a
decided
super
against
deep
it.
dive last night on how to make lava lamps.
Yeah, I've been watching
Did
those.
you do like an aquarium size one?
You could,
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you
could
can
do
make really,
anything.
really simple ones with vinegar that are bonkers.
Oh,
Do you-
huh. I
do
haven't
you see
seen
those, like
those.
the homemade ones with vegetable oil and vinegar.
Lava lamps?
Huh.
They're not real lava lamps. It's just like a ghetto way to do it in your house on any scale. But if you want to do a real
Oh,
lava
see,
lamp,
now I'm gonna have to look at that again.
yeah. But then getting the wax the right consistency seems to be kind of toxic. Theoretically
Yeah.
toxic. If you're gonna do a real lava, a real
So,
lava.
Zema,
But
tell
Zema,
me, how long have you-
you could do it. Please make lava lamps.
I'll look at
How long-
more videos.
I'll drive there and pick it up. You don't have to ship it.
That's cool. I want to know a little bit more about you, though. Like, tell me how long you've been creating toys. Like, what got you into the whole thing? Like, you said you like the old '60s toys, but like, when did you first start to discover this creative niche of designer toys?
Well, I've always done art in some form or another since like high school and before that. Probably 5 or 6 years ago, I started painting like knickknacks from thrift stores. I just wanted to paint more on top of 3D things, which I think was spurred from me painting the walls in our arcade because there's like 16 different colors of swirly crap on the walls in there with blinking lights that change colors. So I did that for like a month and a half straight, and that kind of kickstarted me into doing art more. So I started painting knickknacks and such. So I try to find a lot that were similar that I could paint in different ways, which made me buy a kiln and make my own ceramics because, like resin art kind of comes from ceramics, I think.
Mhm.
I don't know. It just evolved from that, I guess. So that was probably 6 years ago or so. I started painting more things like that.
Do you 3D print
I
some
don't
of your
remember finding
resin?
mines either.
Yeah, I do resin printing. I do resin casting.
Yeah. Because some
I
of
do
your
chalk
designs, we've looked at and be like, there's no way this has been cast. This has got to have been printed.
Yeah, some of them like this is what I was working on this week.
It's amazing.
Like
Yeah.
it would be a difficult mold.
You say.
Yeah. The ones that you sent for, I think it was rainbow sparkles, and they had holes in, and like I was just like, wow.
And like
Yeah.
so many layers
Yeah.
of texture
Yeah.
and flyaway
See,
parts. Like this didn't come out of a mold.
Yeah, that's just me watching westerns and drawing on my iPad for a few hours.
Amazing. They're like religious, like iconography. That's where I thought you
Yeah.
were pulling inspiration
Totally.
from. Not like Westerns.
Westerns.
Yeah, I was like, oh, vintage.
You're not pulling inspiration from the Westerns. You're just letting your mind go.
Yeah. It's kind of a dumb thing you can do and not pay attention. And
It's your
You
LSD.
can also find shows where it's consistent characters and it's not physical comedy, and then you don't have to look at it. You can work on your art, and it's like
yeah,
background.
What shows are you watching?
exactly. And the dogs are bringing me balls to throw while I'm doing it too.
I watch a lot of those old westerns when I work sometimes.
Yeah.
It's very soothing.
You guys have that in common.
Yeah, and also like if you do happen to look at them, those are all giant paintings in the background. You know, they don't do that anymore.
Oh yeah,
They're
that's
just
true.
paintings
Scenes,
anymore.
yeah, the scenery.
Wow, yeah, I am thoroughly impressed by what you're creating. I cannot wait to come up to Binghamton to check out this arcade as well. We're basically neighbors. We're like an hour away from one another. You should definitely come on down to the gallery as well.
Yeah.
Say again?
Yeah, I went to the Rainbow Sparkles opening.
Awesome.
Oh, you're here. Awesome.
We
Are you
should-
coming in on Saturday or?
for the glow show?
Yeah, Glow Show Saturday. Are you coming down for that?
I don't think
This is the
so.
pressure. This is the like.
Yeah.
We just wanted you on here to pressure you to come to the show. That's the only reason. We should take a field trip up to the arcade. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do
You
it
could,
for sure.
if you come here and it's during the day, there's a door in the back that says employees only. Just go through there and go all the way in the back, and there's another door. And
No one will stop us. We're
usually
just like,
win.
yeah, we're going through here. Don't worry. We have
yeah,
permission.
no one will say anything. They don't pay attention.
That's amazing. So,
Cool.
Ron, do you have any advice?
Yeah, I think you should open an arcade in Beacon. You know, when I first moved here, it was a beautiful arcade of old vintage stuff, and he charged you $20 so you could play all the games you want. So I take my kids there, and he was an old television executive. So me and him would sit in the back, and I just love the guy. He knew, like, hey, do you remember that show with Bob Denver? They only lasted one season, The Good Guys. Oh yeah, I have a copy of that. And it's like, I also wondered that even existed. And we just had such great times hanging out in the back, and the kids I thought they wouldn't like all these old games. They loved them. And then the town ran them out. He closed the whole thing at 10 o'clock, but they said, oh, it's too noisy. And they found an old ordinance against pinball machines from the 1930s
I
or
heard
something.
that he was running it like it was a fire hazard, and that's why they ran him out. I heard
Don't-
The
that.
fire hazard.
Don't we have that
The
now?
neighbors
though?
complain about the noise of the pinball.
We
With
have
Happy
our-
Valley?
We
Don't
have
we
a
have
Happy Valley
that?
arcade.
Anyway, they drove him out, and I miss him.
Have you been to
Oh.
Happy Valley?
Yes, I have.
Okay. But
No,
it's not as good as
You can't serve alcohol because you lose the focus, and it's not for kids, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
His was cool because it entertained the kids, and also I loved him because he knew so much about TV, and and I can nerd out on old TV shows, and
It's awesome.
What do you think about Zemot's work?
it's amazing. This is my favorite.
Yeah.
and,
That's a
and this it makes it look like he's looking at you. Like,
Yeah.
it's
all
the eyes seem real because they sparkle.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, I love that inclusion. I love how you put like little inclusions in there. I like the one that you posted the other day with the little like diamond belly button. I don't know, I posted it to my Instagram, and yeah, your work is phenomenal, dude. And just keep up the good work. You're doing some really good things. Every time we get one of your packages, it just blows my mind just unpacking that thing, and and then it makes me so happy to be packing these up and then sending them off to collectors around the world. So keep doing what you're doing, dude. You're super
It's
talented.
addictive, man. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Alex, do you have some images you could share too?
Yeah, I got a couple images here.
Let's turn
Totally.
on the screen.
Yeah, here's some stuff right here, so you guys can see kind of what we're working with. This is great. We got this.
You're so prolific, it's crazy.
We have this as well.
Guys are-
Oh yeah, like what you were just showing. Totally, man. I love your paint as well. Like that's so cool. Like oh, I love it. I love it, dude.
What kind of paints
Thank
are you
you.
using, Zemot?
All kinds of stuff.
Good answer.
I get a lot of I mix a lot of my own stuff from Weird Pigments. A lot of standard airbrush paint mixed with that. Little of this, little of that.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
thanks for coming up.
We'll see you at the opening on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah,
like
yeah.
to see some other,
Stuff is
I'd
all
like
over
to see some
gallery
other
anyway, right?
stuff.
Yeah. Show us a couple more things. Show us some more things.
Please.
So this is like a rat guy.
Whoa. Is that like a crustacean rat?
He is.
I love crustaceans.
He's a rat guy.
It's another one.
Oh my
I
god.
love the color of that one.
So cool.
This is from today.
This
You
is
just made
like
that today.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
is that the resin color or the paint color?
This is all paint. Like this is resin printed. So everything I resin print, I print clear. So I can get different effects on it or just paint it white or whatever. This guy.
Whoa.
See, he looks like crap too.
There's another gorilla kind of guy.
Oh, that's
Yes,
dope.
that
I
one.
love your three-headed gorillas.
Dude.
Like this dude here.
Another something or another.
And
Well,
do you sculpt these digitally too, or do you like make them by hand? How do you sculpt them?
He sculpted.
Yeah, these are all digitally sculpted.
Nice.
Is that you using-
Sometimes I'll have a print that I modify, but if I'm going to mold it, I can modify them. But most of these are digitally sculpted.
Have you always been a digital sculptor, or did you just learn to do that?
That's been like the last few years.
What program are you using?
Nomad on iPad.
Nice.
Is that what you use, C's?
No, I've got it. I know it. Yeah. I use ZBrush.
Yeah.
Suze, you were about to ask a question though. What were you saying?
I just said, are you using Nomad on iPad?
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, Nomad.
Cool.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, you are prolific.
Yeah. Dude, so good. I love those arms.
Thank you.
Nice.
So cool.
Well, yeah, definitely stay with us. That's we'll go back to the main screen. We're so happy to have you on here. Like, thank you for joining us. This is great. I'm so fucking in love with your work. Just keep it up, and like, definitely come down on Saturday. No pressure.
And
And
Zema solo show.
yeah, word. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, I've got 1,783. I wrote it down. Things in my shop right now. So I
Wow.
haven't.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wow.
Let's do
That's crazy.
Let's do it.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
We should call the show. Wait, what's the number?
1,300 and what?
1,783 right now.
Wow.
That's what we should call the show.
How many
Boom.
do you make a day?
We need more shelves.
And how much do they sell?
It depends. Sometimes things take longer than others, but like as you saw in that picture with all the blue stuff you showed, like sometimes I'll paint 7 or 8 things at a time,
Right.
just because I like doing that.
Yeah.
Putting this all
So I might make like that many in a day. I might make one. It depends.
Wow.
amazing.
Wow.
Amazing.
No, I'm just adding up the numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1,000 pieces at $100 a piece.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
Awesome.
they're not $100.
Definitely afford an arcade in Beacon.
just come and buy a bar. He just wants you to buy an
He just
arcade in
wants to-
Beacon, that's it.
Yeah. And it could be encrusted with resin.
I saw a question.
Is there a question for Zema?
No, it's for Ron, but I'm trying to
Okay.
find it.
All right. Well, thank you, Zema. Stay with us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's all right. Now, Ron, back to you. We have a question. It says Ron has so many cool stories. What are the craziest moments of his life? Of your life?
Oh, I mean, I definitely painted with people pointing machine guns at me twice, not just once.
Wow. Okay.
Now, one time in East Village, it's like when people were squatting buildings, there was
Yeah.
an abandoned school. So we squatted the abandoned school, and I built like an art gallery in there and had a big art show in there. And it was completely surrounded by police because they wanted it. They want us out. And so all these armed riot police have surrounded the place. And Tracy Ullman and Joseph Papp and Kevin Klein were giving us food, and we'd lower a bucket down and they'd put food in and we'd take it up. And then I climbed out onto the ledge and painted a mural while they all pointed guns at me and said, "Well, shoot your motherfucking ass. Get the fuck off there." And then same thing in Palestine. I shot, I painted while people pointed guns. But anyway.
Weren't you in Palestine with Banksy too? And with the other
Banksy
people?
and Fail and Swoon. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. She was cute. She was,
Yeah.
we couldn't figure out what the smell was. We're painting the wall and we can't figure out what the smell is. And we finally realized it's just like hundreds of dead sheep. But the thing is, the Palestinians aren't allowed to go anywhere near the wall. They have to stay back like 100 feet. So if they walk there, they'll shoot them.
Oh,
And we kind of figured they probably won't shoot us because we're Americans, and they were pretty aware we were there. But so we realized, we're standing on piles of dead sheep. So we walked down the way, and we're like, "Hey, Swoon, look, you're sitting on a dead sheep. You know that?" She goes, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." And then she got up and looked, and it was a dead cat. But
how could she not realize she was sitting on?
She's hardcore, man.
Why were there all these dead sheep?
Because the sheep would herd the sheep, and if one wandered over there, the Israelis would just shoot it, like for sport. And that you're not allowed to go retrieve it because they'll shoot you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was weird that they would have to stop 100 feet back, and then we would continue on. And then the CIA guy trained us to zigzag walk in case they started shooting. Like you can increase your odds of not getting hit.
oh my God.
But no, they weren't allowed to go in. But we were, because we're Americans. We paid for that wall. That's our wall.
Yeah.
My wall. I don't know. It's some fucked up shit.
Were you building a border wall?
Oh yeah, I built a border wall along the southern border, like to compete with Trump's wall. So I came in under budget, and my wall was cooler and actually got the Mexicans to pay for it because I took out ads for Mexican companies and kicked back.
How big was the wall that you built?
It wasn't that big. It was like about a quarter of a mile, but it was in two different towns, so it was more of a stunt.
Yeah.
Are you? So I was thinking this might be an interesting question. Do you consider yourself a promoter more than an artist?
No, I'm a painter.
Yeah, but
I get bored in painting sometimes.
Yeah, but your real talent. Like the first time that I saw your paintings up close, I was like, "Holy shit!"
So I know how to paint.
So you know how to paint.
Yeah,
that's clear. But do you think that your real talent is?
Well, there's no money in being a prankster.
Yes, there is.
There is.
You could have had a television show just pranking people.
Oh yeah, I'm older than that. That came all after me. But like the BLF never made any money, but that was their fun.
Who never made
the
money?
Billboard Liberation Front.
Oh
yeah, they did the same thing as me, liberating billboards. And
okay,
it's the way we looked at it is, hey, on the weekend we could go play softball or participate in some kind of sports or bowl, or we could do our own thing. And it's like an old situationist thing. It's like, I'm not going to go. Well, first off, I'm not going to go watch a fucking basketball game. I'm not going to go watch a game where you don't allow me to play. Okay. Even when I was in high school, like they had the football team, and then we all wore Kiss makeup and had an alternative football game on the other side of the bleachers. So half the people are looking over the bleachers at us because it's like, I don't want to go watch somebody else. It's like porno. You really want to watch somebody else having sex? No, you want to have sex. Okay, well, you're not me. No, but it's an idea that you're most people are spectators,
right?
And they're professional. They sit at home and watch somebody else do something. It's in our concept of life was no, we do stuff.
Yeah.
And so like I'll go build a wall along the border instead of bitching about Trump building a wall along the border. It's a lot more fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just a different attitude towards life.
Were you part of an art movement called the New Situationists?
We called ourselves that for a while, and I think Don still calls himself that a bit.
What was that art movement?
We just acknowledged that the Situationists had done a lot of the stuff that we had done years before. So like when Banksy painted on the thrift store paintings, the Situations did that. So it's like we're not a lot of this culture we didn't invent. We did that was already there. We didn't know they were there till like we went to college and we realized, oh, we're like them. So it's just like our ancestors, I guess.
Right.
Or finding Jack Napier from the BLF was like a huge revelation to me. There was no internet. It took us years to connect, but we kind of started becoming more and more aware. It's like, there's a guy doing what I'm doing in Texas, out in LA, and what I was later doing in New York. And we finally became really good friends because it's like, we do the same shit.
Yeah.
And we think the same way.
Yeah.
We're like real brothers, not blood, because blood just gives you random people that you probably wouldn't even know if you weren't related to them.
Right.
But you get to pick these really incredible people that have like minds.
That's right.
People like toys.
Did you invent? Did you invent reverse shoplifting?
Yeah. Well, I started doing that because I took a design class, and so I designed beer. So like I did a 6-pack, so I stacked it, so it gave it more advertising in the front of it. It was just like instead of stacking them like this, you stack them like this. Now I got double the advertising space on the shelves. And then I made them and I put them in stores just, to take pictures of them and see what they look like and then just leave them there. So that's like my first shop gifting, making fake products and putting them in stores. But it's like, I don't think it's illegal or anything. I mean, we never do like food. Like we figured it might be weird to go put food in the store, but so like all those boxes in the supermarket you see, we just weighed them at the bottom and put them in there because it seemed weird if there was food in there. Like you might get in some kind of
it's
trouble.
probably illegal.
I got in trouble for
it's
that.
illegal.
But it's hilarious
Tampering with
because
food once.
because people like we did I don't know, it's weird that we drank cow's milk. You know, that's of course, you know, but if I said you want to drink some of my wife's breast milk, you'd freak out.
Right.
So I had human breast milk like in the thing. And we actually have a little footage of this. These two girls come and I don't know, they're buying a bunch of chocolate milk and then they reach out and they actually started screaming. Oh, fuck! Oh, fuck! But it's interesting, you know, it's I don't know, like grocery stores, they might as well be I mean they're like art galleries.
Yeah.
You know, every product is an advertisement for itself.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, you were saying, I'm sorry.
Oh, did I say something?
You were about to say something. Yeah.
Was I? About the new
Yeah.
situation.
Can you back up the tape?
Rewind now.
Did you have an interesting girlfriend in the new situationists?
Did I?
Did you have?
I don't know who those people. I think it was just something me and Don came up with that, and then we got a whole group of people together.
Was there another art movement that you were part of? Wasn't there another one?
The culture jamming.
Yeah,
that was the one that was but that was weird because it was about people who disrupt culture, like by reverse shoplifting or taking over billboards or anything that's an intended advertising space. Like graffiti guys do the walls, we did the billboards and then we did fake ads on the billboards. So it was called culture jamming. But me and Jack Napier laughed about it because there were only about 10 people that did culture jamming, and there were about 200 scholars that were doing their dissertations. Because it's like graffiti artists, they make their name because they want to be famous. I mean, it's a simple transaction. They're not trying to disrupt culture. They're trying to become famous inside this culture, you know.
Right.
Yeah, they're doing something very different than what we were doing. Yeah.
I have a question. How did you meet Slash?
We had the same manager. She started taking on some artists and trying to get us album covers, and so he came to one of my shows. And I don't know, he's a super nice guy, and I like talented people, you know.
Yeah.
And also he loves art, so he was kind of debating whether he was going to be a musician or an artist at some point. I don't. I think music might have won that debate. I don't know.
It may have done. You made that really cool bust with the skull and the top hat and crossbones. Yeah,
he likes good stuff, and like that video. I mean, he loved that video, and I don't know, he's a very open guy.
That's awesome. Yeah, you must have so many stories, and just think of a few.
Any more stories you want to tell us tonight?
You know, I was just talking to somebody about the other day. It's like it's because of drinking. Like, what kind of life would you have?
LSD?
I don't think we'd have a civilization if it wasn't for drinking.
No.
Because you do stupid things, but kind of sometimes cool things, but things you would never do. It kind of indulges you to be.
It allows a lot of people to talk to each other too when they may be too scared to do that. So yeah.
And it took me took a little shy kid like me that just liked making models in his room and comic books and got me on billboards. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
talking of models, we could talk about your process a little bit because, you know, not everybody understands that your paintings are actually starred as dioramas that you photograph. So your studio is just full of these amazing dioramas. So do you build those all yourself?
Up till now, and recently, Mars, my son, has helped me because we got some 3D printers, so he helps me with some of this stuff now. So like all those toilets, when you're flying over and seeing all the White House toilets, so he printed all those.
It's amazing.
And,
I'm gonna grab some magazines because there's some pictures. I can use them for showing up. Keep talking about dioramas.
Yeah.
Have you ever
but the thing is, I've been saving all those dioramas, and we're gonna like build a space next to our thing, and then I'll build like the Delusionville, so like you can go hang out in Delusionville
next to your house?
Yeah, we might build it over at the because we keep talking about having a podcast, but we're not like you guys. We don't have our shit together. But we would build it to be like Delusionville, so you'd be in this weird space, and then I don't know, have interesting people come on or whatever.
I mean, I was lucky enough to visit your studio, and it's just crazy down there. It's such a big space, right? There's just so many.
It's not big enough, and we have a couple of warehouses full of that I built before. So I used to throw them away when I first started making them, but now I try to save them all. So eventually, I'll be able to put the whole thing together as one thing.
Yeah, cool.
I feel like you must take parts of your dioramas and reuse them and repurpose them into other dioramas.
Not sometimes, but like I don't know if you notice, like some of them, like I do a layer and then I base a few paintings on that, and then I make another layer. So that's
Right.
the cave underneath.
Right.
And then a couple paintings come off of that.
Right.
It looks like this computer's on dial-up or something. I don't know why it's so blurry. But yeah, if you grab issue 18, there's some images from Ron's studio of his dioramas. So,
But I think I showed one at a museum in Arizona, but mostly I never showed them. Because also I don't want to go put them somewhere, build that whole thing out, and then 3 months later I have to take it down. You know, I just want to build it to one spot, like kind of like what you guys did. It's like you're not going to tour this stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's too much work.
So you're actually an amazing sculptor as well.
Yeah, I like sculpting more than painting. It's more like you feel like you're really making something. You know what I mean?
But you never have you ever sold a sculpture or made something archival? I feel like
Well, I mean, we make a mold and then we make.
right, but you
Yeah.
never felt like you needed to sell an
No,
original
I'm trying
sculpture.
super hard to hold on to all that stuff.
Okay.
Kind of like Alex Gray. I mean, he was not, the only reason he was able to build the House of Mirrors is because he busted his ass doing prints and because everybody wants the paintings.
Yeah.
And it's almost insane for an artist of his stature to be able to hold on to those paintings
yeah.
and make his own museum because you got to survive. I mean, he's got like 100 people like popping around over there. He's got to support or whatever. I don't know what his nut is over there, but yeah. So that's why he's always worked so hard, like coming up with different kind of products and making sure that the bills got paid, and that he could hold on to as many of those paintings as possible and get them all together as one piece.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're saving the dioramas and you're saving the original sculpts
Yeah.
for a
Delusional.
potential for Delusional.
Yeah.
So
All I got to do is stay alive.
So
2 more years, and then I got it.
So you bring up our local cult leader, Alex Gray.
And
A
Allison,
local company.
Who I love.
yeah.
I love Alex.
They're like you guys. They're
Yeah.
They're awesome. We love Alex
and
and
they
Alex.
both play their different parts. And
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Everyone has the role to play.
If you don't know who they are,
Look them up. Chapel, Sacred Mirrors.
They're two of the most impressive artists that mankind has ever produced.
So you did start your own cult.
Well, theirs isn't really a cult. It's a community.
We're jokingly calling.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go make up your own mind by hanging out with them. But you did start your own cult.
Well, we
through
did
NFTs.
a crypto club called the Light Cult Crypto Club, where all the images were based on the light bulb. But it was jokingly calling that, but it didn't morph into being a cult, but it did. We didn't know like what the NFT thing. It all came really fast, and we got involved with it very quickly. And then when we did that one, it was like the PFPs, and then we thought, what is this? And I think a lot of people were just gambling and playing hot potato. But I mean, that's not who we wanted to be or what we wanted to do. So so originally went into it, we said every month we'll put out a new print and you can burn for a print. And also he makes some handmade sculptures that he trades so that everybody won't be stuck with a NFT because they're not ever going to be worth it. That stuff,
I think you were always
just gambling. But we
realized
realized
you were always upfront about that.
Yeah.
Because I would break your balls like anyone in the NFT space early on, and you were always like, dude, that's not the point.
No, because we always backed everybody with a print.
That's right.
Yeah.
But also, it's like a club. So we created a club, and now you have a ticket to club. So like when we did this thing down in Miami, you got to go backstage if you were a bulb head. And when we build our metaverse, there'll be sections where that you can go in, but you can't see anything. But if you're a bulb head, you plug in your bulb, and the whole thing lights up, and you can see a whole other section. So there's a lot of stuff we can do with these. It's like our gang, you know.
Right.
And if anybody wants out every month, you know, for a year, they have their chance. And after a year, you're just stuck with us and you're in the club. But,
That's it.
but it's like
You're in.
the problem is we're not, and especially my son. It's like he does not ever want to rip anybody off. He is so diligent about that, and that's not what we're here for. And so he's kind of ran the whole thing. It was an incredible amount of work. But yeah, we have a great collection of people.
And you had that great event here where everybody
Yeah,
came in, like there's all kinds of things. It's amazing.
We'll do another one in the spring as soon as the
That's great.
weather gets nice because it's only 60 degrees out there right now. Right?
Yeah.
Dead of winter.
Yeah. So, are there any other questions in the chat? Anybody have any other questions?
We got one here from Jimmy.
Throw it up. Any plans for another pop mart? Like another one somewhere else, do you mean? Or reopening this?
One of my crews meeting with a place on 14th Street. So that's a possibility. The reason we shut the one down here, obviously because of the pandemic, but also there was a thing called a trade war, so we weren't able to get stuff. I mean, the shipping containers are 5,000 and they're 25,000. I know nobody cares about this stuff, but it was a serious.
Yeah.
We had a war with China, a trade war. That was a serious thing, and it damaged and destroyed a lot of people's lives and careers, and also a lot of people got to loot, and it was a weird time.
Yes.
But I think that things are starting to happen again, and we got some stuff back in the works. So, maybe we'll reopen the Pop Mart here, or maybe we'll do something in New York. But but it's like you can't have a store if you don't have product. Yeah.
Right. So that's a good question. Any others in here? Let me look. Any other questions? Oh, someone says Temper Tot's one of their absolute favorite toys, pride of place in the studio. So where did the idea for the Temper Tot come from?
The Temper Tot was easy because I had a 2-year-old and I was terrified of him. And, well, the interesting part was it was made from the point of view of a parent, and every time that we have some discussion, and everybody that's been a parent goes,
"Yes,
we're scared of them." It's like they're only that big. But then I never thought about it from the other point of view, because after I made him and started making murals and toys and stuff with him, the kids went crazy for him, and I realized, oh yeah, I forgot what it was like to be 2. I mean, you're so tiny, people can just pick you up, and that they responded to that because he's got power, and he's my age, he's 2, he's a badass.
Yeah.
So it kind of worked both ways. So, and again, it's like writing a song. You don't realize, oh, that's going to work. That hits a nerve.
Any chance of coming to Australia for an exhibition run?
What's up, Chris?
Yeah, I haven't been to Australia in quite a while.
Yeah, well,
last time I went there, I did a tour, and I picked up like Kid Zoom, and I became his sponsor here in the States, and in Bridge and Ben Frost. I made a whole bunch of really cool frimes there.
So if
yes, I love
Australia.
Give me a good show.
Needs a good show. There you go. Lewis asks if you can still be a bulb head. Can you still join?
I think they have some still on OpenSea.
Yeah, so there you go. You can join on OpenSea if you want to become. Mumbot says, "Ron's so cool." You are. You are. It's true. It's true. No one comes to Perth. Paul says no one comes to Perth.
It's a big art town. Yeah.
Well, Chris, you could make it happen.
I think that
I toured there years and years ago.
Perth?
Different, yeah. But that was a long time ago. Yeah. Time goes fast. Every time you go somewhere, you think I'll be back every year, and then
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's really incredible that in your career you've been able to just be so flexible and be willing to move. Like I think
like on the NFTs, like you were there straight away.
Yeah, but yes. And
that you
were flexible.
We tried to get it. We tried to book a date with Nifty Gateway, and they said, "Well, we got one in 3 weeks." It's like, "Do you know how to make an NFT?" I'm like, "No." And it said, "Well, we have another one in the summer." And I said, "Well, it'll probably be over by the summer." Right. So I think just give us the date, we'll figure it out. And,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to be under pressure. I think I would have done really good in advertising with deadlines and stuff.
Yeah.
Is Dennis Allen the musician that got the tattoo?
No, that's the guy who just did the song, Jason, right? Jason Draven.
Oh, yeah,
he got the tattoo.
Yeah.
Very
so
cool.
Dennis also got his NFT tattooed on his body. So how many people in the NFT world got their NFT tattooed on them?
I don't know.
Quite
but
a
I know
few
we set up at the party,
Yeah.
and somebody came in and gave tattoos.
So there's at least 3 that we know of.
Cool.
That's it. See if there's anybody else.
Yeah, if I got residuals or
From
a cut of all the people who have my tattoos.
Who's the most famous
I'd
person?
be building Delusionville.
I know I think I know the answer to this question, but who's the most famous person with a Ron English tattoo?
Chris Brown was interesting because he got my son tattooed on his arm, and I think he has the smiley grin on the back of his neck. But he came to the gallery, and the not the director, but the main guy, George, is really kind of a prissy guy. Sorry, George. But so Chris comes in and goes, "I'm Ron's biggest fan," and he goes, "No, you're not." He goes, "I'd really like to meet Ron." So he goes, "No, you're not a fan. Get out of here." And then he ripped his shirt off and goes, "Look, I got his tattoos." And then he set up a meeting with us. Yeah.
All right, I guess you are.
But, yeah, I don't know.
And Louis says, any plans on a new mural in New York City? Do you have any murals lined up?
No.
No?
If people ask me, I do it, but you know,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go door to door.
Like, hey, can I paint a mural? No.
I might still do something illegal, but I don't know if that count, right?
Sure. No. I mean, it does, but no. All right. What time is it? It's almost 9 o'clock.
Yes.
So I think it's time for us to start wrapping up. Unless there's any last minute questions.
It's easy.
The winning lottery
Any more
number
questions?
is.
I don't think so. I could go on all night. I love you, runs. You know what I mean? And you're just the best ones. You know what I mean? And every time that I come over and stay with Josh and Miranda, I love coming to your house. You and Tasha are just diamonds. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we love having you come over and hanging out. You're like part of our family.
Your house is the best to hang out of. Your like Friendsgivings, your events that you throw. It's just always so welcoming and just.
Well, that's good. I'm
fun
glad
to
we're
hang
getting
out.
back into it. It was kind of lonely during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Right on.
Your house is always busy.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
maybe people come over after your show on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do a little after
There you
party.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank
We
you
got some
everybody
friends
for
coming up from the
watching.
city too. So that was
Oh, awesome. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for the questions, the comments. If you're on Instagram, I'm sorry we didn't ask any of your questions. We can't read them. You have to come to YouTube. So we'll be back next week. Check one out on Instagram, Run English.
And definitely come to the show
propaganda.com.
on Saturday. Come to Beacon. It's fun.
Yeah.
Speak
Thank you
to-
to Zema for joining us as well today.
Yes, thank you so
brother.
much.
Yeah, we got a new addiction. Yay.
Yeah. Follow us
Cool.
at Clutter Magazine, CZ13 Art, Maya Tanaka, and keep collecting toys and loving each other.
Yay.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye. 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 Bye.